what do we have here? We have got okay. So we're kind of taking our bets, I guess, in the chat here because there's been a lot of bombshell type of Trump stuff that has come out. My goodness, what happened to the background? It broke. You, Kevin, really? Oh my, totally black too. What the? What would you say you do here? You know, I just anyway. And so Trump is got all these Epstein file bombshells coming out just left and right. Now there's a dude named Bubba that he apparently blew or something. Um, People are saying it's Bill Clinton. But I mean, to me, that doesn't really add up. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a particular image that comes to your mind when you're like, yeah, Bubba's real and he in prison and he's the one that gets, you know what I mean? And they doesn't look anything like Bill Clinton. So, but that's from a very conservative perspective, I should say, that I'm thinking from, which probably isn't great. Point is, the fundies are going to have to contend with this, right? Right? They're going to do something. They're going to either ignore it, or say it's fine because reasons. I don't, you name it. You name your reason. Jesus forgave him. Whatever. Mary was only 13. Whatever. You name it. Okay. They'll come up with an excuse, or it's a hoax. It's all they're just lying. Whatever. But I haven't signed in. This is the first time I'm like looking at this for a while, and so we're gonna see. We're gonna see, like, who is talking about it. And these are also like right wing channels right here. Okay, now if you go to any normal feed, it's all through it. You know what I mean? And what do we got? False teacher with the mirror, the truth about death and life. She cast the demon out of her daughter on accident. Apparently, you could do that. That's a thing you could do sometimes. Sometimes you just cast them out by accident. Don't even mean to. And demon just falls like, oh shit, what's that me? Oh, demon fell out on the floor. My bad. I'm glad I did that. Jesus, what the fuck? um, okay. Ken Ham talking about gay books still. Thought we were over that like 10 years ago. I don't know what is going on. Um, Buddhism is more evil than I thought. Oh, I'm going to have to respond to that in a little bit. I love Buddhism. How is it more evil? Okay, we'll get back into that later. Nothing here. I mean, am I crazy? Oh, wait. Epstein Files. Okay. Oh, here we go. The Epstein emails reveal fallen angels. Who had demons did it? Who did anybody? I didn't even put that as a fucking option. Because why? I don't know why I didn't think of that. Of course, demons. Yeah, no, that's what obviously it's going to be because of fucking demon. Holy Lord, my goodness. Okay, let's check it out. That's the only response I've seen so far. So it looks like the ignore it entirely seems to be the most accurate, as far as what I'm looking at here. Bree, hey Bree, what's going on? Aunt Spooky, what's up? How's it going? Well, yeah. All right. Let's check out the email, the only channel mentioning the Epstein emails. Oh my god! And then we'll come back to this girl because she's talking about something I think is pretty interesting. But that was something kind of different. But here, let's check this out.
Used for? Was there really a tunnel underneath it that went deep in?
What?
Everybody's talking about the Epstein Files, the email, the blackmail, the powerful men who visited the island, but nobody's asking the real questions. The questions like, what was that temple on Little St. James Island used for? Was there really a tunnel underneath it that went deep into the mountain? Was there tunnels that connected that?
Why would anybody be asking these questions, man? Like, he's like, these are the real questions. Now, I know, there's a bunch of abuse victims and everything, but what about the fucking tunnel? There's a tunnel. Whoa, is there a tunnel? I don't know. I mean, why are people not asking about tunnels? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe people are a little bit more concerned with the most powerful guy on the fucking planet being implicated in the island of abuse, of a very specific kind of abuse that's like the worst kind of abuse.
To other places? And what were those tunnels used for? What were they doing underground?
I guess they're I don't know, transporting the fucking kids, that turn into donkeys or something. I don't know.
Because we know the official story is lacking in its explanation. But what was it actually used for? Because there's been some people, some whistleblowers, some survivors who escaped the island who allegedly said some very interesting things about that temple. Whether it's true or not, you be the judge.
Well, let's judge it. Let's see. Okay, since you're just not focusing on anything normal, what's the weirdo shit you're looking at?
And here's where it gets pretty strange, because according to some people, survivors say that they heard weird things at night. They heard things like chanting. They heard strange music that didn't sound quite right, like it wasn't really coming from anywhere. They talk about...
They heard... What? They heard... I'm sorry. That was just... What? They heard music that was weird because it was not coming from anywhere. Then how did you hear the... What? What do you mean? Like what? Everybody heard it in their head, like in their brain antenna? Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Symbols that were carved into stones, underground tunnels, and elevators that went down inside that hilltop. Leading to where? I don't know. And
I don't even know what. It's amazing they could be like the actual stories like right next to them, and it's like that meme, where they're like, again, the one where they're like, oh, they're looking at this, and like the thing that's actually happening is like right next to them, and they're like filming the wrong shit.
Also, there was apparently some rooms that people weren't allowed to enter that went along with this oppressive presence that people talked about, an evil. They felt an evil.
It was the guy, man. It was the people there. Like, you don't need invisible, undetectable monsters for this, dude. You can just have the real, actual fucking monsters that are there.
It was an evil that hung over certain parts of the island. In fact, the entire island, Little St. James Island. A lot of people...
Like, in fact, all the parts. It is over some parts. All of them. So, it's those parts are the parts that it's over. Every one of them.
People said that as soon as they stepped onto the island, they felt it was off. They felt oppressed. They felt darkness that was surrounding the entire island.
I'm sure the victims did feel oppressed. I feel like there was probably something about that.
Now, when you look at this architecture and you look at the temple itself and what it was made out of, what it looked like,
he forgot his meds again.
You realize it really is. There's something disturbing here. Because it wasn't designed for...
There is something disturbing here. It's called child abuse, like child sexual abuse. What the fuck?
Humans, basically. It was designed, in my opinion, for something else. Something darker.
How is all this shit happening? And this is the guy's focus. It's incredible. What is that ladder for? I don't know. Is anybody telling? Where are the reports on the ladder? What's the ladder doing? That? Why wouldn't you have stairs? But you got this weird ladder. I don't know. I think demons. That's got to be the demons love ladders. That's sort of their whole bag. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're all about it. Symbology. Yeah. Ladders.
Something far more sinister. And what is that specifically? Well, let's just
more sinister than the PDF file stuff. More sinister than that. And he's like, demons. Yeah. Sinister, right?
And find the answer to that question in the Bible, because Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay.
But we got some just regular wickedness here, man. We don't need all that. We got just the human evil kind going on here. That's pretty fucking bad. And I think, It's kind of weird that you're doing this.
That's what the Bible says. So what if Epstein's Island wasn't just about SA or ST? Okay.
Wasn't just about that. Nothing, barely anything that's happening.
But what if it was actually a gateway into the spiritual, a gateway into another dimension?
That the Sphinx was a door to another dimension, a gateway to immeasurable power.
To another dimension?
That was in. I haven't seen that movie. I don't think the Sherlock Holmes movie is about demon doors. I guess I need to go back and watch that.
Live in the box.
Those were demons in the bowels of hell.
Let me show you what I mean, okay?
Those are movies, right, man? Those aren't real. That's not a real. None of that stuff actually is real.
The temple that was sitting on little.
You know, the weird thing is I don't actually know that he knows that. I've literally watched people that sound a lot like this guy talk about movies like they're fucking real. And they're like, no, yeah, I know it's a movie, but it's of a real thing. And then they'll be talking about like the most ridiculous movies, like They Live and shit. And you're like, no, I don't think that's not a documentary, man. That's not based on true event. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
St. James on Epstein Island. It was on the highest point of the island. And my calculations, in my opinion, that's not random. He chose that specific spot on purpose. Why? Because it's an ancient occult practice. High places is what they were called in the Bible, and they were considered thin. The veil between our world and the other world was considered thinner the higher you get.
Oh, you get up high. I think that's a different kind of high, dude. Like, I see how you got there. Different high, I think. I think it's more of like a different kind of high is what I'm thinking.
So generally in the Old Testament and in the ancient times, occultists and people doing rituals and people trying to contact the other side would choose the highest place, the high place, to conduct their rituals. So
the highest place, the high place. Okay.
That their ritual would be a success. These locations where the barrier between the physical and the spiritual was weak, they're real, and they're the high places, all right?
I love that this guy says they are real, or it's real, or he's real. Like, he says that like so much, it's so funny. It's like I swear it starts to sound like he's trying to just convince it, like he's looking at a mirror. They're real, right? They're real. We you and me, Mr. Reflection Man, you agree that it's real, right? You think that, right? Okay, you're me. I believe, right?
So the Bible constantly warns us about high places over and over again. It's all over the Old Testament. God commands Israel to tear down places where the pagan nations were. They're worshiping their gods. They're demons. They're fallen angels. Okay, this is spiritual warfare at its highest levels, everybody. And why? Why did they build it in the high places? Because it worked. Okay, they wouldn't do something over and over again if it didn't work. And as we know, the things of old are also the things of new. All the secret societies, all the rituals, the occultism,
It's so funny watching this guy. Last night, we just watched this movie called, I think it was called like A Night with the Devil. Was that what A Night with the Devil. Anyway, it was like this. It was really cool, actually. It was really creative. It was the guy that played the Spot guy from the Suicide Squad with the shark. Remember the guy that, like, threw up all those, like, the kind of look like the dots in the background here. He threw up all those and he would fight people with the dots. Anyway, he's the main guy and he has like a talk show. And anyway, he brings on all these guys. It's clearly got, it clearly had like a making fun of James Randi character, which is kind of fucked up in my opinion, and they made him, of course, the asshole. That's never convinced of anything, even though it's super obvious that the magic is actually happening, but skeptic, which is the only time I will say when skeptics are wrong and stupid is in the fucking movies. That's it. That's all that's the only time when the skeptics are actually wrong. But what did I say? Oh yeah, but the whole thing was interesting because it was just like, it was clearly written by this type of guy, when they believe in all the conspiracy stuff and everything like that, all the selling the soul and all that shit. But it was really, I don't want to ruin it, but it was really fun. It was an interesting movie, but it was clearly written by a conspiracy theorist that hates skeptics. But anyway,
the black magic, everything around today is literally brought back from the ancient world. So if they did it in ancient times, they're doing it today. Okay, so let's look at the design itself.
Yeah, absolutely. He said, he sounds like a guy that loves all the Satanic Panic soft cover books from the 1940s. It started in the 1940s. Holy shit! To the 19. I thought it started in the 1960s. That was the end. That was the end portion of the Satanic Panic. I was involved, like not involved in it, but my parents were still suffering from the mass panic in the fucking 80s and 90s. So that shit, I guess it just never ends. It's just a perpetual panic. That's what we should call it. We should just call it the Satanic Perpetual Panic because it just keeps going on. It never ends.
This building, the entrance, it faces magnetic north. In ritual magic, directional alignment, it really does matter, because north in occult theology, it represents the void, the abyss, the dwelling place of demonic entities.
North does? Wait, is that true north or whatever? Magnetic north equals that? What did you just? I'm sorry. Let me go back.
Ritual magic, directional alignment, it really does matter, because north in occult theology, it represents the void, the abyss, the dwelling place of demonic entities.
What?
And that's occult cosmology, and that's across the board.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were, a professor of occult cosmology. Guy's got a PhD over here. Holy shit.
By facing the door towards the abyss, is he summoning entities to come into that place? And if he is, what entities and why?
I don't know. It's about to ask those same questions. All right. Who won today? How we doing? Everybody feeling good? It's Sunday. Yeah. Sorry about the last second here. Thanks for showing up, even though it was literally the last second. Totally. I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot to schedule this. Because that's, I do that a lot. Anyway, all right, Drazilla's first. What's going on? Hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh yeah, up in Detroit. Detroit Atheist Queen. I wish I could see the actual names here. This is just really weird that they won't come up on my feed for some reason. But and then we got Dan. What's up, Dan? How you doing, dude? Yeah, it was Kevin's fault too about the beginning there. Just want to make that clear. Kevin, he's owning it right now. He's just shaking his. That's what he's doing. Like that, saying that's Kevin for I'm sorry. He won't ever say it, but it's okay. We get it. All right. Who else we got? Native Atheist. What's up, dude? How you doing? They'll ignore it. They ignore pedos in their own community. That was my point exactly. And a couple different threads that we were talking about it online there. And we got Rib. What's up, Rib? Sorry, I can't say anybody's actual name. So, if your name isn't Rib, although Rib's a cool name, I think that, I think you can make that work. It sounds like somebody from my punk community, honestly. They're like, you got Stench, you got Stench, then you got Spike and Rib, it's just how we do names, I guess. Bree, what's going on? How you doing? What's up? Buzzing by. Yeah. Troy, she gets it. Yep. My bumblebee. Yep. We also got Andrew. So dude. Trump so and he liked it. Yeah. That's it. That's the video right there. That people were saying Russia before. I think it's Israel. I think Israel has that video. And so Trump's like, you could do whatever you want. You could just don't let anybody see me do Baba. Okay. I don't want just anything you want. Go ahead. So that's why that's happening. Spooky. What's going on? Oh yeah. All right. Where are we at? Are we at the bottom yet? Oh my God. We gotta keep going. Hopefully I won't miss anybody. Oh, Snuggle Dungeon. What's up, dude? Hey, how you doing? My cartoons were prophecies this whole time. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Word poop. What's up? That's right. I remember some of the names. Not many, but I'm getting better. All right, here we go. Okay, it is Kelly. I was gonna say, I wanted to say that, and I was like, I don't want to say it wrong because, like, yeah, okay, I know this. What's up? How you doing? That's so funny. I almost said it, and I was like, no, because that's when you mess it up when you're like, not, and then you're like, that's not my what the. Anyway.
All right, now look at the Golden Dome. Okay, in this picture,
I knew
Golden
it.
Dome.
Golden Dome is what I was focusing on too.
It's a distinctive golden dome. And here's the thing.
What the hell? What are you doing with your string, man? Okay, so you don't even know how to do your cork board right. You're not supposed to tie up all one item with your yarn from your cork board. Jesus, you can't even do that right. God damn it.
That people don't talk about. That exact design, it appears, and it was been featured on Phoenician temples that were dedicated to Moloch.
Well, that guy looks very scared. He's like, like that. That's the voice coming.
The demon who demanded child sacrifice. That's right. Moloch, the Old Testament god. You think it's a coincidence that Epstein had that?
Moloch was also in the well, kind of. It was also in that movie, A Night with the Devil.
On his temple too? I don't. I think it was purposeful, and he did it for a specific reason. What about the blue and white stripes? These colors, that pattern, okay, it matches temples that were found all over Mesopotamia. Okay, specifically temples that were dedicated to Ishtar. Ishtar was the goddess of what?
That wasn't it just it's not just like the Israeli flag. Isn't that the colors of the Israeli? It's like that dark, that royal blue and white. That's what it looked like, right?
That's right.
Thank you. I knew it. Thanks, buddy.
You know, I can't really say it here, but what it represents, okay, it's the goddess of also
fucking. It's the goddess of fucking.
The goddess of war. This combination of.
Never mind. I'm sorry. Wrong. Different goddess. You know, I kind of have my own one of those. You know, and that's when I get to wear my leather suit with the zipper. Anyway,
of what Epstein was doing. And a war. That's what she represents. And in the Bible, she's known as Astaroth, one of the demonic entities that the Israelites were forbidden to worship. Hey,
tons of mice. What's going on? How you doing?
Okay, she's mentioned specifically. Ishtar, Ashtaroth, same thing. And the proportions of this temple, well, many architects have analyzed the building's dimensions.
Like many architects have evaluated the temple's dimensions from what? The photos? How do you? Okay.
And according to these people, they don't match any known functional space. But what they do match is something else: sacred geometry. And these sacred geometry ratios were found.
What the fuck? That's not sacred geometry. These are. That's like a Hindu, Buddhist. I don't know if it's Hindu. I don't know if it's Buddhist. They both have these chakras and all that, right? Look, yeah, 7 chakras, 7 planes. It's so weird when they act like this stuff is the same. Oh, tarot, whatever. Okay, Jesus Christ. What does this have to do with the building and the dome over top? Because they're like, oh man, the dimensions don't make sense for a functional space, but they do. It looked very functional. It looked perfectly functional to me. It just is. It's like a little room, whatever, with a golden dome on top. Perfectly functional. I don't know what you want, man. But then you're like, no, but it does have sacred geometry, demons, tarot cards, what? Chakras, evil.
And are found in Kabbalistic texts specifically. There are little specific mathematical relationships that are believed to create, they call it like a resonance, okay? Resonance with some spiritual force behind it, based on the dimensions of specific buildings and, you know, angles by themselves. These things are known, and they have been known for thousands of years. But
he said it will not function without a keymaster and a gatekeeper. That's right. I feel like I've heard this from somewhere. There's, you know, I'm something's coming to my mind here.
Take all that stuff. Don't listen to me. Just take it with a grain of salt, whatever. But what you should do is
No, yeah, all that. No, that's me. I mean, not the grain of salt. I'm not listening to you at all. You're crazy.
listen to the witness testimony. The multiple women who escaped the islands describe the same thing. They allegedly describe underground chambers. I heard one story that there was 12 thrones.
You haven't said anything about you've been spending this time talking about the fucking dimensions of a little building that he's got, and that it's up high. Yeah, I'm sure there were like underground whatever. Like nobody said that wasn't the case, dude. But there weren't fucking demons there.
Arranged in a circle with symbols carved on each one that looked like no alphabet they'd ever seen. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I've heard it, and you probably have too. One of these women allegedly drew symbols from memory, and archaeologists identified them with Sumerian cuneiform, which was obviously the language that was written in, written and used in ancient Babylon. I don't know if they're true or not, but this is what I've heard, and I don't know. Have you heard this too?
No.
That underneath the island.
I don't know what.
There's
Under
tunnels, there's secret areas, there's chambers in the rock that basically terrible, unspeakable things happened in.
The terrible, unspeakable things happened on top of the island in the house that was there. He owned his own fucking island. You didn't need tunnels because he owned the whole fucking island. What the hell is it? What? Why would you need that? Why would you have to have secret fucking tunnels when you own the whole fucking island? And it's kind of just understood across the entire island, the sick, disgusting things that happen on the entire island regularly. You don't need tunnels.
Spiritual things. Most cultures worldwide, according to mainstream history, have histories of human sacrifices. I mean, look,
It does kind of look like Chris Pratt in a way. That's kind of fun.
you have Samaria, Babylon, Egypt, Canaan, Greece, Rome.
Probably believes a lot of the same stuff too. Now I think about it.
Different names, same entities. Moloch, Baal, Asheroth, Dagon.
You say Bill? Hold on, Bill. Ishtar, Fred, Ishtar, Dementor, Joe.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This type of thing could be found all over the world. Okay, demons, fallen angels, they demand the same thing: innocent blood, because it helps them. It helps them come through onto our side. When the blood is spilled, these things get more power and can more easily inhabit the magician in a way that allows them to, have basically a symbiotic relationship and work together at the same goal.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this straight. You read the Carnage comic books way too much. That's what that sounds like to me. Because that's what that sounds like. A symbiote, right? The blood gives them the power. That's Carnage. You're just reading a Carnage comic, dude. Like that's all it is.
That's the bottom line.
I know.
Magician
That's what I'm saying.
invites the spirit in so that they can work together, so that the spirit can augment the magician, kind of like how they want to.
Not a magician, Drusilla. It's the magician. We all know who that is. Am I right? You got nobody? No, I don't either.
Augment humanity today with AI. It's the same thing. Now we're trying to augment ourselves with technology. Back then,
yeah, we never did that back then. Nope. Yeah, that's why glasses are brand new. They just came out. Cars too. Like, wouldn't cars like technically be transhumanist? Like, when you're driving a car, it's technically an extension of your, never mind.
And still today, actually, and behind the scenes, they're trying to augment themselves spiritually. Okay.
God, his mouth is creepy. He laughs. There's a video with him and Trump said, Trump leans over and gives him one of his, classic Trump zingers. And he laughs really hard. And his mouth's like he just, what? Like he looks like that. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Back in the day, there was this clown that was the, mascot or whatever of, I want to say Busch Gardens, Hollow Scream thing, and the big chin, and it had this mouth. It's like, anyway, that's what he looked like. Holy shit.
And Jeffrey Epstein?
Terrifying.
Well, allegedly, he's doing the same exact thing that they were doing. These are the same sacrifices to the same ancient demons. And these demons demand blood. That's exactly what I think Epstein was doing. And I think that's why they're trying to keep it under wraps.
It's not the tons of abuse of people's children or anything. It's the demons they got to keep under wraps.
Yeah, sure. They just released these 20,000 emails, which are very interesting, by the way. And some of the things in there about Trump,
what do we got?
Looking good for him. But
okay. So we got wow. I'm kind of surprised, dude. To be honest, usually people like this that are so willing to believe the stupid over the real story that's awful and everything all on its own will like figure out a way to not, they'll rationalize around their bias there. But he's like, doesn't look good for him, which is putting it fucking lightly. I mean, that's the understatement of the goddamn year.
This isn't about that, okay? Because the mainstream media, they don't want to dig deep into this and reveal all of the secrets. They want to do surface level things. They want to expose surface level information. That way people aren't too outraged, okay? Because what if Epstein wasn't working alone? And we know he wasn't.
Well, wait, otherwise people would be too outraged. Like, I think there's okay. I don't. I feel like if you're looking, if you're looking at it to be like, oh, this makes people too outraged. What we got makes people plenty outraged, and I don't see how you could be much more outraged given what we know about what happened there.
What if he was working for intelligence agencies or governments? That's the rumor.
Okay, no, he was. That was actually true. Anyway, don't want to get into all that because I'm not. I have a hard time understanding all the spy stuff, but yeah, he was involved with spy stuff, I think, for like Israel and shit. But anyway,
I'm not saying he was or wasn't, but I'm saying there's some evidence to support him being a.
It looks like Bree said, this guy looks like Chris Pratt and Brentley had a baby. That is okay. No, I could see it. I could see the me in there. That's pretty. Yep, and the crisp. You're right. Oh yeah, that is actually. He just needs a flat cap and holy shit. Yep,
an insider. But it seems kind of strange because his network, it was too vast, too organized. It was too protected, actually.
Too goddamn organized. That's nothing like non-demonic stuff. Anything that doesn't have demons, disorganized. They're just a bunch of ADHD. It's just a bunch of me's. And a bunch of Kevins, right? Yeah, exactly. Black background. What the fuck? I'm moving past it. Okay. Pressure points.
Powerful men from every nation, all around the world, every industry, political party, you name it, they're all connected. They're all connected through this one common thread. They all visited the island. Okay? I mean, it's insane how many people visited the island and the records of that.
I mean, it is like one of those things where like there were tons of powerful people, but that dude was like extremely what was he again? He was like a fixer or some shit, right? Like he had something that he did for everybody. I don't know. But was also a freak. Anyway, I can't remember, but yeah, lots of very powerful people did pass through there. Not because of the demon stuff though. I think it had something to do with the sex trafficking. That's right. That's what it is.
Are still there. They participated in something. Why would they visit that? Is it like Bohemian Grove, but on steroids? Bohemian Grove is more of the playful aspect of it, and this is the real deal. Maybe.
Yeah, it's the playful one. Oh, okay. That's so funny. He brought up Bohemian Grove. Of course he did. Another thing that was mentioned in the movie I watched last night. That is so funny, dude. That is so like, wow. Anyway.
So they went to the island. All these people, all these bigwigs went to the island. They participated in something, and then they became compromised. Okay.
The sex with the children.
They were able to be controlled. And who was controlling them?
The people with the pictures of them doing the heinous crimes, dude. Like, what? Why does there have to be demons for this, dude? You don't need demons to like take pictures of people doing disgusting stuff that you can use against them. No demons required. You could just do that, just completely naturally.
And who was using blackmail? Who was it? Was it Epstein himself? Or was there something behind Epstein that was pulling the strings of this whole thing? Was it Epstein the ringleader of this whole thing, or was he just a puppet?
Well, I mean, so Drusilla said all the world's politicians sounds a bit exaggerated. I don't know about all of them, but I mean, they did have like Andrew, Prince Andrew and stuff. So like there were other world leaders there. I don't know if all of them were there, but you know, a lot of the more powerful ones, I think, and more like gross ones, like Andrew.
Was he the face of it? But behind him,
Mossad, that's what it was. Thank you, Mossad. Yeah, see what I mean? I don't know a lot about this.
There's a whole nother.
The fuck is Mossad again? That's the thing. What is that?
The layer, a darker layer, a deeper layer that people aren't even talking about.
Bill Gates. Yep, probably.
And Epstein's job was just providing this initiation. Okay, not into a secret society. No, something darker, something older, something more direct. And this is, in my opinion, communion even with these principalities and powers that the Bible warns us about, with these fallen angels, with the actual demons that still wander the earth today. And guys, honestly, here's why it matters more.
They just wander the earth, just wandering around in a bucket hat and a Hawaiian shirt, just suitcases. Which way do we go? I don't know. Excuse me, sir. Could you tell us where is the hotel that is
than people think? 2 Corinthians 4:4, it says, the God of this world blinds the minds of unbelievers. The God of this world. Who's that? It's not a metaphor. It's not poetic language. No, it's Satan. It's the devil. It's Lucifer, even though Lucifer isn't technically his name. And
he's not technically a god, right? I thought there was just the one God in your religion, right?
Satan.
Well, 3, but 1. But that's because, you know, they don't understand how logic works.
He's referred to as the prince of this world 3 times in the Gospel of John. And then you have Daniel 10:3. An angel tells Daniel that he was delayed because he was fighting the prince of the Persian kingdom, a demonic entity that was assigned to control the nation. This wasn't metaphorical, guys. This was literal.
Fuck, where's Dr. Kip? Like, now I feel like they said something about a demon ruling a nation in Daniel. Is that what I got from that? What?
This angel was literally in a battle with a demon.
You watched too much of The Omen. Yep. and that was like way too heavily online when YouTube first came out, because I swear to God, like 90% of what YouTube was when it first came out was this shit, 100%, and a whole lot of that Requiem for a Dream soundtrack over like words coming up on a black screen, and that the Lady in Red song from The Matrix just freaking you out, you know?
A god, a fallen angel, however you want to call them. And we know demons and fallen angels are totally different things, but they work together. What? They're one and the same as far as their alignment goes.
Okay.
So yeah,
I did not. This dude. I didn't. I got to get into this dude's like deep lore. I guess he's got like a whole Dark Tower fucking lore going on here.
A fallen angel could be called demonic, but they're not. It's not a demon. It's a lot more powerful than a demon. Demons are only in the spiritual and can only inhabit bodies to get their physical power.
Where the fuck do you... Okay. I would love to see where he gets this information. And he never seems to provide any of the sources. It's not like based on this or like based on my reading of this particular whatever. Nope, nothing. Just says that it is what it is, whatever he thinks.
As far as, but when you look at fallen angels can appear physical. They don't need to inhabit bodies, but they can. And you might be saying, how can a fallen angel possess somebody? Well, if you look at what happened to Judas, okay.
Well, you mean like scientifically? You're like, wait, how can a fallen angel inhabit a body when they have a particularly uninhabitable body? I don't know what the fuck.
It says that Judas was possessed by Satan. Satan literally inhabited his body when he hung himself. So under that precedent, yes, fallen angels can also inhabit people, but they don't need to because they have physical bodies as well. How that works, I don't know.
It doesn't because you're just making stuff stuff that should be obvious that it's not real. It's like they got physical bodies, but somehow they can get their physical bodies inside other physical body. That kind of doesn't make sense just physically, just with the base, just with what I know about things going inside other things is as far as physics goes.
But that's what the Bible says. Some people might be saying, "Oh, that's ancient mythology."
It is, yeah. But hard, yeah.
It's not modern. There's no modern relevance to this. We live in current year where, we have all this technology. We don't need to rely on the spiritual. But technology and the spiritual are the one and the same. Explain this if you don't think it's real. Why do global leaders meet at Bohemian Grove to perform these mock human sacrifices in front of a 40-foot owl statue? Okay, guys, this Bohemian Grove isn't conspiracy theory. It's fact. We all know about it. Everybody knows.
It's fact. We all know about it. I mean, and here's the thing. That honestly doesn't sound that weird. You've seen it's weird. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like these fucking the fraternity guys and everything, they do all sorts of weird shit like that. And then they put on the robes and do all the Mason stuff, like their weird fucking ritual. It's dorks. It's dorks doing dork stuff. Okay, they get dressed up, and do their dorky like ritual thing. It's just what it is, as far as I can tell. But it's not real. So that's the thing. It's like you think what they believe, if they even believe it. I don't even know as if they did. I just think it's some ancient thing that they kept doing. That's all. They're like obsessed with like keeping up old traditions and stuff. Like most people are in some way. A lot of people have like ancient traditions they're trying to keep going.
Knows about it. And ask yourself this, okay? How come the mainstream media doesn't cover Bohemian Grove? None of them do. You can only find information about.
What do you want it covered? Like what do you want them to do? Like I don't understand.
Bohemian Grove.
From what I understood too, Bohemian Grove. Yeah, maybe they do that weird ritual thing or whatever. But the thing about that place is it was supposed to be a place where you could go and be a famous person and go do stuff sexually that you couldn't do anywhere else because of all the paparazzis and everything. So it was like a place that you could go do all your fun, sexy time shit without anybody talking about it, which usually meant they got some tendencies. You know what I mean? They got some gay tendencies, right? And they can go there. They can have all the fun with all those tendencies as they like, and then they can go back to their regular life, and no one's the wiser, right? That's supposed to be, as far as I understand, the point of that place. But and maybe there's a ritual involved. I don't know.
From third-party sources or people who storm into it, like AJ and some other people. And the mainstream media, even though they know it's fact, they know that it's a legitimate place, they don't cover it now or ever. And when it's confronted,
I was just gonna say, like, they're like, why do they do these rituals and stuff? And then Rib was saying mostly the Catholic Church, but like, look at the Catholic Church, dude. They pretend to fucking eat a guy, and they think they're actually doing it, and they dress insane. What, like, they got statues all over the fucking place. Like, it's only normal because we're used to it. But when it's like a fucking owl instead of some lady, some magical lady, then it's weird. All of a sudden it's weird now. They have there's statues of like demons opening their buttholes on Catholic churches. Not even kidding. There is, right? There's just weird shit in those castles and stuff. They're
by investigators and people trying to figure it out. They claim, oh, it's just tradition, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just harmless fun, because they know it's real, so they have to deflect it. If it wasn't real, why would they do it in this exact same way? And look, I'm not saying Bohemian.
You just said because it's ritual.
Grove are actually doing the sacrifice. No, I think, like I said before, I think that's a symbolic ritual that puts their intent into that spirit. But then when you take that intent and you bring it to Epstein Island, well, that's when it takes that whole thing to another level. Because intent only goes so far. Occultists
It's so weird that they can't just. It's what they. In order for them to give a fuck about like the victims of the people that were harmed at Epstein's Island, they have to do this, I guess. But and it's like, and then the victims like are nowhere. Like you don't even hear about it. He's like, but the demons though, and it's like, God, it just cheapens all of it. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it like you don't actually. It feels very Alex Jones-ish, where it's just, it just makes it like, it just cheapens the whole thing, and in some cases is actually harmful to the families of victims. But
first step as far as doing rituals and magic spells, it's always intent. But if you want to take that to another level, you have to actually perform stronger and stronger rituals until you maxed out your.
The stronger ritualists did. I don't know why they didn't start. Why didn't they just start with the strongest rituals? And then they don't have to do. You know, they could just do the one, right? They don't have to.
Ritual strength, so to speak. Okay.
That's ritual strength. How do you? Okay.
And look, guys, the people at the Bohemian Grove, at Epstein Island, they know it's real. They know who they're serving, and they know that if the public understood,
they know it's real. Okay, the people that are worshiping the demons, they know it's a demon that they're worshiping. What do you think they don't know that, huh? Do you think they're just worshiping nothing, huh? And they can't even see it. They don't even think it's actually there. They know. They know.
They truly understood what's happening,
What the fuck?
what rituals they're doing, and why. There would be a reckoning because the public would not stand for it. I'm telling you.
The public can stand for quite a lot, dude. Have you seen our president?
And it's obvious, guys, because here's the thing about the spiritual realm, spiritual forces, fallen angels, the demons, the demonic power, all that stuff. It's real. It works. Not in the same way that the movies show. No, you don't summon a demon and it grants you 3 wishes, right? Like Aladdin or something. It's not a jinn. It's not a genie. No.
A jinn is a genie, isn't it? I thought that was the jinn. That's where we get genie from. But anyway,
it's more subtle than that. It's more insidious. You open a door, you invite something in, you make an agreement, and you don't have to speak a word. It's all internal. So a sacrifice that.
Were you there? Like, how do you know all this stuff, dude? Like, where do you get this information? That's what I want to know. Like, what? He just like said, it's like, I swear he just sits and makes this stuff up and it's like, yeah, that's right. The thing that I thought in my head, that's got to be it because I thought of it. So, you know, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write down what I thought. That's got to be it. That is it. I'm deciding with faith, through faith. That's true. Now, what I wrote down.
That allows the spirit to actually inhabit you. A ritual, the same thing. This act of worship that they're doing, it's an exchange for knowledge, for power, for a mutual control over that body between whatever spirit is in there, or spirits, I should say.
Mutual control over that body. They already have. Okay.
And the person who did the ritual in the first place. And it's more than just things like promotions at work, you know, connections with people, opportunities, money, fame. It's more than that.
They get magical powers. How much you would have bet he's going to say they get magical powers? They get powers from it. They'll end up like that lady with the top hat from the Dr. Sleep movie. You don't know.
Sure, that's all part of it. But it goes far beyond that. And once you've opened that door, once you've accepted it, you've accepted that power, you're bound by it. You're compromised. You can't go back without losing everything. And that's why they film it.
What?
That's why they document it. It's not just for blackmail purposes. It's not just for a way to keep control over somebody. No, it's a seal. It's a contract. It's proof that you've committed what Matthew 4:9 says. I think it's Satan's offer. And look, I do believe that through Jesus Christ, you can be saved. You can come out of it.
You can erase the videotape of you assaulting the child.
This whole thing. And you can be renewed. You can be given a new life. So these people could find their way out through Jesus because Jesus does forgive all sins. Well, except for the one sin, the one unforgivable sin. But outside of that,
which is not assaulting children, by the way, it's just not believing in God. And you know, or blaspheming the Holy Spirit. But a lot of people suggest that blaspheming the Holy Spirit is just not believing in him.
You can still be forgiven. Now, is that unforgivable sin? Was that what we're talking about here? I don't know.
See, right there, that is the problem with that. This whole fucking belief system. The fact that you can do that to children, and Jesus will forgive you. Okay, like, why do you think you have so many fucking PDF files in your fucking churches all the time? Because of that, right there. And it puts all the morality on this equal footing. Hey, we're all sinners. We're all evil. Okay, so I mean, you're no better than me, who's assaulted children. No, dude. Nope. You're worse. You're worse. And your religion is awful for making it seem like it could even be on equal footing at all.
Because theologians they have different opinions on what that blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is specifically. So what do you...
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so there's one. That was one person that has acknowledged the this proves. So it's that guy again. Never mind. No, it doesn't. Whatever it is. No, it doesn't. So yeah, that was the only so far. That's the only Fundie that we've seen that appears to even mention the Epstein Files. Yeah. No. This is like the biggest shit right now, and they're not saying anything about it. It's like completely hidden. Oh, look like Crowder's trying to rationalize it or something. Oh no, he's talking about the 50-year mortgage thing. Yeah, okay. The 50-year mortgage, the slave, the fucking debt slave thing, which is also awful, but not as awful as the Epstein stuff, but nothing. Jesus. Even the right-wing channels, they're not doing anything. Look at this guy. Joe Rogan issues dire warning to America, and he's right. Bless the left. Whatever the fuck. When the hell was that? 3 days ago. Yeah, dude. What is happening? There's like literally no one is talking about it. That is fascinating to me. Israel will kill you. Yeah, I mean, if you try to give people food in Gaza, probably, they seem to like doing that. Jesus. Misplaced priority. Shutdowns, silence, and sacrifice. What America forgot this week. Jesus. All right, let's see what the Kirk is talking about. He's kind of one of my new favorites, to be honest. Now that he's got his show
Ever feel like
that doesn't automatically trigger a copyright thing. I swear before it was like if I I forgot it up there again. If I would go to like a Kirk Cameron video before, it would automatically give me a copyright because it was like the Trinity Broadcast Network. It was like Kirk Cameron on TBN, and it was something called like the Takeaways or something. Anyway,
America's priorities are upside down. The government grinds to a halt. Christians are slaughtered across Africa while the media and the rest of the world scrolls right past it. And too many of us forget to honor the heroes who actually made our nation free. Today on the Kirk Cameron Show, we're going to unpack all three of these stories: the government shutdown, the forgotten genocide of Christian believers in Nigeria, and the meaning behind Veterans Day, which we just celebrated a few days ago. And then we'll be reacting to some viral videos that James has got for us later in the episode. And by the end, you're going to see how courage, compassion...
Only 30 minutes long. It's like later in the episode. Like it's an hour long or something. All right, let me... Damn it, it doesn't seem to be in chunks. Okay, it's the veterans... Oh, no. There was chunks. Okay. Because I kind of wanted to watch... Yeah, I want to see. Right,
Coffee this morning?
I have an empty cup right here.
Yeah.
Because I needed it.
Yeah, I know. A little help in a cup. Hey, if you want to check it out, just go to reformedroasters.com.
They tried to
Reformed Roasters. Good one, man. Who named that?
extort. The Democrats tried to extort our country. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get
I
our
love it. It's so funny that like the Republicans that have all three branches, they have literally all the power. Every branch of government, like more power than the founding fathers ever wanted one party, one person, one group to have. They've got it. And it's still the fucking Democrats' fault. Jesus. Mainly because mainly the reason that the Democrats were just like, no, we're not voting for that to open back up, was because they were literally trying to, and I got to check on what the agreement was, because I know the Democrats caved, but they were trying to say that like illegals would get health care. That's obviously not true, and they were mixing up the ACA, which is what most people call Obamacare. They were mixing that up with the Emergency Care Act that what's his name? Reagan put through the Emergency Care Act. So it was like, if you are in immediate danger, you have to receive emergency care right then without checking anything. Doesn't matter if you are homeless, if you don't have insurance, if you don't have anything, doesn't matter. If you're hurt and you're in an emergency situation, bureaucracy is not, that can wait until after they give that person the immediate care. That's the Emergency Care Act. And they're trying to say that, no, get rid of that for, illegals or whatever. So, which would make it so that everybody gets stopped. Like, hold on, this unconscious guy here might just be an illegal. We got to wait for his papers. Hold on. Well, he can't talk. No, yeah, he's unconscious. We're just going to have to wait. I guess we'll have to wait for him to wake up so that he can prove that he's actually a citizen. And then he's dead. Okay, shit. Well, we could have saved him had he been going around with his citizen papers just on it under his shirt or something. That would have helped, but shit, I guess he's dead. Like, that's what they were literally wanting to do to all of us.
our country working again. Thank you very much.
So what does the end of the government shutdown really mean? Trump has signed the bill.
Oh, okay. There's Gretchen said they didn't care. I don't know. I didn't see I still got to go back and read through some of that stuff. But like, as far as I understand, they gave up a lot. They gave up more than they needed to. We'll just put it that way.
It looks like the government shutdown has finally come to an end, and that means Congress is starting to head back to work. So for millions of Americans, that brings a huge sigh of relief. People have been working for the government and not been paid for it. But it also raises an important question for the family of faith. What does this actually mean in everyday practical terms for you and me? So here's the simple answer. The government is reopening, and people who work for the government finally get paid. There's food assistance for families, the SNAP program, the WIC program, and basically they help low-income households buy food, groceries to support moms, young kids. All of that's going to return back to their normal schedules. As far as air travel, that's going to begin to stabilize. Parts of the
that was the other thing, was like the air travel. Well, the FAA, like which they've already gutted to all fucking get out. The FAA, which is, the regulatory body that makes sure that planes don't fly into each other. But anyway, so they gutted that, because who needs that? It's like a couple planes flying into each other. I think we can handle that. Okay, we'll deal with the fallout and just pay for that. But we don't need all this regulation, red bucket tape everywhere. You know what I mean? Goddamn Democrats.
Economy are going to start to rebound and accelerate again. Now, one of the big sticking points of the shutdown, of course, was the healthcare issue. A big part of the problem was the fight about how much should the government help with health insurance bills through Obamacare, extra financial assistance that lowers what families have to pay each month. So lawmakers couldn't agree on extending that help right now. So they didn't. They kicked the can down the road and scheduled another vote for mid-December. Now, most people seem to believe that the vote probably won't pass, which means insurance companies could keep jacking up their rates for families in 2026 unless Congress finds some other way to solve the problem later. So the healthcare issue was not exactly resolved. It was just postponed. What we can expect next is that Washington,
because that was the other thing. They're like, they're trying to put through and say that like these insurance companies can just like, charge us all to death. And also the getting rid of the Emergency Care Act, that would cost a lot more too, for a lot of different reasons, just because of all that extra, ironically, the extra red tape that they would have to put. It causes a lot of problems. The reason that insurance premiums go up a lot of times is because of the people that don't have insurance. They get treated. They like other insurance companies like have to cover that stuff. So that's, a lot of times why we were saying we need a single fucking payer system so that everybody's covered. You don't have this like some people covered, other people aren't, and the people that are covered have to pay for the other people that aren't covered, even though it's not. And so they just get charged more, and they're like, "Oh, but you need the freedom to be able to pick your plan." No, you don't. No, you don't. Just give everybody good fucking insurance. What the hell is wrong with this? Is so stupid. They act like it's like, no, but some people will get health care that don't deserve it. Like it's a fucking Ferrari or something, They're just like, some of these poors are going to have the same health care that these, that the rich people like me that deserve better health care, better health. What the fuck are you talking about? No, we all get the same. We all need the same health care. It's not this. What the fuck? It's so weird that some people are just like, no, but they deserve worse than me though. So that's why we shouldn't tax it and have a single payer system.
Goes back into motion, and here's a couple things we should watch for. Federal workers who weren't getting paid will finally get paid, and they'll get back pay, and it's going to happen quickly. The rule is that agencies must issue money as soon as possible. That's the phrase, not weeks or months from now. Number two is that air travel will gradually improve.
Yeah, I kind of don't care about that. This is all political shit. I was like hoping for more like fun
our
stuff.
Political representatives need, because that's what brings real peace, real solutions, and
funny. I wonder if he's going to come out and say anything about the Epstein file. No, probably not. I doubt it. I think he's going to completely ignore it, pretend like it didn't happen.
Real unity, not shutdowns, not standoffs, and not 40 days of frustration. While our leaders posture for headlines, something far more tragic is unfolding in the silence.
I'm Christine Frizzell in Washington, where President Trump continues to speak out against violence against Christians in Nigeria. Last week, the White House decided to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern through the State Department, and then suggested military action could be on the table.
But here's what I don't understand about this whole thing is, how is it that they give such a fuck about the Christians in Nigeria, but they don't care about Gaza? What, because they're Christians? So as long as it's Christians, then they can give a shit, because apparently they can only care if it's the same religion. Jesus Christ.
Across Africa, the Christian faith is under attack. In Nigeria, there are literally tens of thousands of Christians who have been murdered by Islamist militants, and 15 million people, some say even up to 20 million, have been displaced and are homeless. Churches are being burnt to the ground. In Sudan, there's a civil war. 150,000 people are dead, 12 million people homeless, and believers are again among the most hunted. And crickets, barely
Most hunted. Okay, interesting.
a whisper coming from much of the mainstream media. There's no marches, there's no hashtags, There's no celebrities who are weeping and crying on talk shows, pleading for people to.
Well, I mean, I think we're not funding that one, man. We're not funding it. Yeah, that's there's a lot of stuff going on, but we're kind of like narrowly focused on the fucking genocide that we're paying for, man. That's kind of like, you know, a little bit higher priority for us, you know, since we send billions to the people genociding another people.
Help. But we see headlines about nearly every other injustice on earth, except this one, where men, women, and children are being hunted simply because they say they're followers of Christ. I think there's something very interesting for you and I to recognize here.
You're just perpetual fucking victims. It's like the most popular religion on planet Earth, and they're like, we're persecuted. What about Africa? Okay, and like there are parts of Africa where they're like executing gay people because they are theocratic countries, because of our fucking missionaries that went over there and got them all, you know, riled up. Because again, you know, there's just not a lot of resources over there. But anyway, which, you know, is always going to be, you're always going to have like a higher religiosity, it seems, when you have fewer resources, more desperate. I mean, look at how like much people are saying recently that like the like Christianity is increasing. You know, you got like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson and everybody like pandering to Christianity right now, because it is kind of like increasing. It's going up as far as its popularity because of the added desperation. When you bring in Republicans that make everybody desperate because they cut all the social programs and everything that helps all the people, well, then they cause a bunch of desperation, and people turn to a religion and pseudoscience, which they're also doing that, and wellness and snake oil and everything else, because they're fucking desperate. And rich people love that, because then they spend the little nothing that they have on bullshit that doesn't even do anything.
Hey, you got to check this out. Christmas is coming up. Great gift. Reformed Roasters. Go to reformedroasters.com. Put in the code Kirk for 10% off. They'll think your values are under fire. That's why percent APY on balances under to get started today. So this past week, our nation celebrated Veterans Day. Watch this.
Oh my God.
We are honoring our nation's heroes on this Veterans Day. Thousands of people lined up.
Where are they reacting to the TikToks? I don't care about this. Nothing against veterans. You know, thank you for your service. I love you. But this is not very interesting. It's very interesting content.
Politics. It's going to be because of people of faith who choose to lead with character and serve others with love. Now I'm going to react to some viral videos that James has collected that show us just how far our culture has drifted. And
nice. That's what I was waiting for.
Hopefully how we can bring it back. James?
All right. The first video that we have is a fight that broke out in Berkeley, California. Take a look.
Shocker.
A live look over Berkeley, California. Things much calmer there now this morning than they were just a few hours ago ahead of a Turning Point USA event at that campus. Several fights.
What are all those Christians doing fighting each other? Huh? I thought they need the piece of Jesus is what they're supposed to have already had that. I guess they don't.
It's breaking out between protesters and attendees. Watch this.
Those are just police.
A wild scene playing out there. It started around 7 o'clock or so Eastern when
that looks like basically a UFC fight. You know what I mean? That is some happening. Anytime you see this stuff, it always makes you go, man, boy, are movies fucking unrealistic. You know, when they just take out like one person at a time. And then two will come, and then they get one kick that hits them both, you know.
Protesters and event goers started just having a regular conversation, and then it evolved into this brawl. Both sides going
at Veterans Day. Why?
At each other. Police.
It's a beautiful day. just like nice and cool out, you know, it's beautiful weather.
Finally stepped in to break things up. 2 people arrested. And now this is not the first spat of violence there at the UC Berkeley campus. Back in 2019, a speaker from a different conservative group was also assaulted shortly before speaking at a rally on that campus.
You know, this is not shocking. And when you think about it, the optics are really, really bad for Berkeley. I mean, Berkeley is fighting at a TPUSA event. What was the last big thing that happened at a TPUSA event with Charlie Kirk? So they're painting themselves as those who are on the side of the assassins of Charlie Kirk by fighting with the police. And they're supposed to be the ones way over on the left, the liberal, inclusive, love is love, love everybody. It's all about diversity, equity, inclusion of all people, except, of course, conservatives. That don't that hate people and stuff. Yeah, you kind of can't accept the people that don't accept people because, you know, that's paradoxical. And if you're on the right side of things, the conservative right, then all of a sudden, you know, you just start swinging.
All right, the next video that we have is a video.
Oh, that was it. Well, it's funny too. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, he's saying like it was Berkeley's fault. Like Berkeley, what the school, the town, like, what do you want? Like it's them deciding, like they're calling up people. Hey, can you guys go fuck up these Turning Point assholes? We got to show them what's for, so we can be just like what happened in that Charlie Kirk situation. Since this is related somehow.
Video of thousands of Muslim people in downtown New York City after the election of the new mayor. Take a look.
We're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be upon, of Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home. So I want you to repeat after me. I want to hear it.
They do this shit all the fucking time. I bet you they had to pass like 4 Christian pastors doing this exact shit before they got to this guy. And they're like, how dare he? And they do that. He was just doing. Kirk Cameron goes out with Ray Comfort, who does this right here. It says that everybody's going to hell. That's not his religion. They all need to convert to his religion. Otherwise, they'll be tortured for all eternity because theirs is the right one. They say that with the microphone in front of crowds of people. But it's when a Muslim does it, it's because communists fucking Muslim.
In every single district, it should tremble. Brooklyn should hear it. The Bronx should hear it. Queens should hear it. Say it as if the Ummah depends on this, my brothers and sisters. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Like now they're speaking in tongues. I just, that's our thing. Okay. We're the ones that speak nonsense.
There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the God of Jesus, the God of Moses, the God of Abraham, and the God of the last and final prophet Muhammad.
Wow, he's the God of Jesus. Wow, interesting.
Please stop, isn't it?
Turn this shit off. I can't take this. He said that Allah is the God of Jesus. I'm having a hard time thinking straight. I'm blinded with rage right now at that Muslim.
There's enough of this. So if you really want to live in a Muslim country, go to the Middle East. There are many of them. Why then do you come to a country that was based on Christian principles?
What Christian principles, dude? The only thing they ever fucking say here is that it's based off of Judeo-Christian values, which a lot of times it's just like, don't steal and stuff. Even though that's, anyway. But their book would be based off of like the first 5 books of the Bible too. So technically, it'd be the Muslim Judeo-Christian values. Just say it. They tend to have the same values, dude. There's tons of conservative Muslims that sound almost indistinguishable from you guys.
Through and through. I know why. It's because the worldview, the eschatology is that Islam should take over the whole world. But the true religion.
You think that Christianity should take over the whole world, man. It's so weird. They're like, they think that it should conquer the whole world. That's exactly what you think about Christianity, man.
That has come down from heaven is not an organized system. It's a person. His name is Jesus. He's God in the flesh. And he comes to save Muslims. He comes to save atheists. Formerly an atheist, I was. He comes to...
Right. Yeah. No, you shut up.
Save Jews, Gentiles, slave, free, male, female, whatever your background is and whatever the flavor of your sin is. Jesus is the savior of the world. So I appreciate the zeal. I appreciate the passion, but he's got the wrong God. Allah is not the same God.
Well, he thinks that you got the wrong God, dude. Now this is real easy. You know how you solve this? You demonstrate that your God's actually the real one by proving it exists. How about let's do that? Let's just let's just take care of all of us right now. No more atheists. Once you do that, just do it.
Is the God of Christianity. It's not the God of Moses. He's not the God of Jesus. Maybe the best lesson that we as believers in Jesus Christ can learn from something like this is that you cannot keep your faith private and not allow it to impact your community and your elections and expect to continue to be able to live free, because these guys will have their worldview impact their elections, which will potentially turn New York City and other cities into little Sudans or Nigeria. And look what happens.
What? Why? Like, oh my God. Hold on. Let me play back some of this, because he basically was like, we have to turn it into our religion's place, because otherwise, if we're quiet about our religion and just sit back politely, the Muslims take over. Right now, it's just a city. What's next? The country. That's right. A Muslim's going to take over our country and make us all pray 5 times a day on a special mat. I hate it.
Actually turn New York City and other cities into little Sudans or Nigeria. And
how would he do that, dude? It's so crazy that they get so... It's hilarious how offended they get when, like, they're trying to do literally what they're claiming they are trying to do, which they're not actually trying to do. But they do want Christianity to be like, hey, they're so insecure. They're like, I need to have my religion as the correct one printed on all the taxpayer funded buildings, because ours is the right one. Okay. Just validate my beliefs. It's like, how do they not realize the whole point of this country is for everybody to be able to believe your own shit? And you can use your voice on a public corner, and you can shout that your religion is the right one as much as you fucking want, but nobody gets to be treated like anybody's more correct than anybody else. You just all have the same freedom. That's the type of shit that the mayor of New York stands for. He's not going to start like legislating Muslim whatever, it's absurd.
And look what happens when that religion dominates in those places. So, Christians, what are you doing? Wake up. Open your eyes.
I know, Bree. Hey, Bree, what's up? Bree said, does Kirk not realize that we have been following him since childhood and know that he's always been an evangelical? Yeah, I don't remember there being a time like he went from being a kid on that show to immediately, being a fucking evangelical Christian publicly and everything. Like, he was not even out of his teens, right? When he started coming out and saying that he was a Christian.
Understand that it's either Christianity, Islam, or secular humanism. One of these 3 giants will reigns supreme
What?
in our land. It's
no shit. Said he said he got that Kirk Cameron got one of his co-stars fired when he was a teen because she posed in Playboy. What the fuck? Holy shit. What an asshole, dude. What the hell does that have to do with her doing that job? All that means is that she's multi-talented. You know?
It's just a matter of us deciding if we really believe that we serve the true God. And then let's do what he says.
Yeah, from child actor to professional Christian. That's a good way to put it.
All right, next video is a new book that was written for your kids. Take a look.
This is honestly, it's quite trigger warning here, I'm sure. So just, you know.
Exactly why I wrote and illustrated my inclusive children's book, The Pengrooms. It is because it is the kind of book that I wish I had access to when I was a kid. I don't have children of my own. Not yet. I wrote this book for my inner child.
The Pengrooms? Okay.
Because I grew up to marry.
I mean, probably shouldn't put the word groom in the title. They're going to have a field day with that. I mean, I don't know if you meant to do that as like something, but...
my penguin, Matthew. And I think this book would have allowed me to feel like those feelings.
Or is it supposed to be like
perfectly normal and okay? To celebrate Pride Month, I am releasing the original title that's only here, not available in bookstores. Many of you know.
He's so uncomfortable. Gay penguins. Oh my God. Oh my God. Nope. Yeah, I can't. Oh boy, I'm very uncomfortable right now. Where are penguins' butts? Because I can't help. I have to think about their butt sucks. And I could actually, I'm gonna have to look this up on Wikipedia. Penguins' butts. I need to visualize this properly so I can be properly disgusted.
My book is now called Pringle and Finn at major bookstores because the name Pengrooms was too controversial. So
I get grooms.
Many of you want the original title, and it is here for Pride Month, right here, nowhere else. I just want to thank you.
Oh, grooms, got it. Okay. It's like I'm watching this through their eyes. I'm caught. You know, it's funny. It's like you put groom in the title. Okay, no grooms. Yeah, like bride and groom. Got it. Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
So that's enough. Turn on. Get the gay cartoons out of here. Get them. They're turning me gay. Like part of my face is now probably gay from having seen that clip. Damn it. Now I'm thinking about dicks.
First of all, we should view guys like this through a lens of compassion. I know people who have been dealt a deck of cards, not only in their family of origin with mom and dad and their relationship, his relationship with his closest people, maybe also together with the propensities that he has emotionally and all of that. We want him to come to Jesus. We want him to find a place of repentance and turn to the truth and have his eyes open. That's something that only God can do. So he's being consistent with his worldview. He understands.
He's being consistent with his worldview. Good, very well done. I'm glad you're here to tell us these things. Holy shit. What would we do without you?
That a lot of this stuff starts when kids are.
I thought he was not. I thought he was in conflict with his worldview, with the gay penguins and stuff, being a gay man. And
really little. And so he's trying to help them in the way he thinks is going to help them. This is why we as believers have to begin teaching and shaping our children's hearts and minds when they're young. That's why I work with Brave Books.
That's why we have to hide the entire world from our children and then say that anybody that does try to let our children know information that we don't like, that they are trying to indoctrinate our children into not our religion, because that's how it works. If you don't think about it.
That's why I wrote a little book about the fruit of the Spirit. I write a book that pride is not a virtue, humility is the virtue, and we've got to teach our kids these things. If we don't teach them and we abandon education and moral,
you mean self-hate, dude? It's so crazy to me too, because I was like thinking about it the other day. AJ, Waste to Human, she did a really cool post on Facebook the other day. And it was all about how she, is feeling more like open. She could be herself. She doesn't have to feel like shameful or afraid to be just out open, be herself, dress the way she wants to, talk the way she wants to, think the way she wants to, and she just gets to be her. And it's very freeing. And it was so interesting to me because like just her saying that, and I don't even think she was making it like, hey, Christianity does like literally the opposite. Or encourages the opposite of all of this, but it just made me think about that so much. It's like we'll sing songs at church like, I want to be less of me and make me more of you, to Jesus, or whatever, to say that it's Jesus. Be less of me. I can't be me, and sing those songs. I am shameful. I am bad. I don't want to, like, everything that I am is bad, evil, but Jesus good. I don't want to be me. But at the same time, they'll sit there and tell trans people, hey, God made you just the way you are. You're supposed to love the way you are. You know that? You're supposed to love that God made you the way that. Well, which one fucking is it, dude? You can't say that we're born broken and need to be saved, and then also be like, but you should love the way you are because God made you that way. Which fucking one is it? It's crazy. It's like, but yeah, this shit is really harmful. The way that they push this shit on their children to hate themselves, basically, and then shit like that causes like all these other problems, in the future. A lot of addiction issues and stuff come from not accepting yourself, shit like that.
Moral training to teachers, even to our churches, other people, and you've seen the woke pastors and youth pastors out there in these TikTok videos. They will form the values of your children for us. We don't want that to happen. So if you want to get some great books for your kids, go to bravebooks.com.
They will form the values of your children. Jesus. By values, they mean, hating certain groups of people.
Bravebooks.com. Put in the code Kirk every single month. Use
oh my God.
Good.
Why is it
love
still,
your kids?
Holy shit. Nightmare. Still going. Oh, here we go again. Oh my God. It's the banana. Yes. All right. We got to something good, y'all.
All right, the next video that we have is...
And his kid's there. He's like, please stop watching. I didn't want my child to watch this video. I didn't know that. Oh boy. I thought everybody forgot about this video, frankly. So if we could just... let's all forget about it together. Actually, if we could do that, let's do like at the end of the movie Sphere. And we'll just forget. Let's just forget collectively. Come on.
A video that you might actually remember. Take a look.
Uh-oh.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study the
atheist nightmare, right?
Made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges,
and it fits perfectly right up your ass.
On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves. On the close side, 2 grooves.
Who put
banana
this goofy circus music in this?
One to the other. You'll find them.
Everybody. Just anybody with eyes and ears and a brain between them.
Maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents. Green.
Non-slip surface. You know that, but like, aren't bananas like, it's like a well-known cartoon fact that bananas are slippery.
Too early, yellow just right, black too late. Now, if you go to the top of the banana, you'll find...
And of course, the reason why all of this is so hilarious is because bananas were practically inedible in their original form. GMOs are responsible for literally everything that he's pointing to here. That was all like human intervention that caused banana. They were like full of seeds. You could barely get anything out of them. But they genetically modified it. And so that's why it's so awesome what we have today. But he doesn't know any of that.
As with a soda can makers placed a tab at the top, so God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. You'll find the wrapper, which is...
I don't know. I've had some older ones that did.
Biodegradable, has perforations. Notice how gracefully it says.
Oh my God! Look, even man, I need to screenshot this. This is going to be the cover right here. Okay, because that is perfect. That is, yeah, man. You should have just left that guy alone. All right, you should have gone and done a movie career and stayed an atheist if you're ever one.
This is painful.
Notice has a point at the
It is for all of us, buddy. No, so I get it.
top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth. And it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier.
I told him not to do it. I said, Ray, you can't make this video. I said, he's like,
that's so funny. Now he's blaming Ray. I told him, Ray, please don't make this video. Why? You're asking why? Because it's fucking stupid.
Don't worry, Kirk. I've done this for years and years.
Oh, he's doing an impression. Let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and hear the impression in its entirety.
Do it. I said, Ray, you can't make this video. I said, he's like, don't worry, Kirk. I've done this for years and years. The people love it. And
what the fuck accent was that? That I thought you were an actor, Kirk. No wonder you became a professional Christian instead of an actor. Holy shit.
Look, all I can say to you.
You got to put it like this. Yeah. I've been doing this for years and years.
Is that Ray never imagined the mockery and the implications that people have drawn around this video. He genuinely just was being clever about biodegradable wrappers of banana peels and how the when it's brown, the banana's too ripe, and when it's green, it's not ready to eat yet, and all that. I was like, Ray, it's just not going to go down like that. And he's like, trust me.
Why won't it go down like that? Because it's wrong? Because it's wrong and stupid? Or is it what? Like, because he won't actually say. It's like, he's just like, I don't know. I just don't think it's good. I don't think. Why, man? Why? Just say why.
And so he's now become known officially as the Banana Man.
The Banana Man. That's right.
Call him the Banana Man. He wrote a book called.
We have a for members. We have an emoji that is the Ray Comfort with the mohawk, with the banana mohawk. That's right. But for members only. You know,
called the Banana Man, to really lean into this and leverage how he has become famous for this video. Ray is actually, honestly and truly, one of my favorite human beings on the planet. He is a good man who genuinely loves God and cares for people. He's just
thank you, Gisela. Gisela got it. I wonder if it'll come up. No, it doesn't come up. Not on my end, but if you look in the chat, you can see it. It's pretty cool.
Just a nut.
All right, the next video that we have.
Definitely a nut. Yeah, definitely a nut. I don't think he genuinely cares about other people either. He talks down to people like they're fucking idiots while saying the most idiotic stuff. There's nothing more frustrating than a stupid person. There's nothing more frustrating. I started to say it right. Than a stupid person that is also arrogant as all fucking get out. And that's him.
Is a message from Johnny Erickson Tata. Take a look.
One of my favorites.
Over the years, my quadriplegia has forced me to take one day at a time. This trial is so hard that this morning's grace is not enough by mid-morning. Grace runs out by lunchtime. And I have to go to God. Because of this wheelchair, I'm always going to God for help. And living like that makes each day precious. It's why Psalm 90 tells us to, quote, number our days so we might apply our heart to God's wisdom.
Yeah, the crocodile. That was the other word. But not a crocodile. Yeah. Now that video, that one was fucking solid, dude. He probably likes that one. He's like, that's the one you should have showed. Is the crocodile video. I killed it that day. I brought like visual aids and everything. Yeah, no, not like those kind of aids. No, like, never mind.
And his wisdom is
You're being gross, Kevin. Seriously, man.
living the way I describe, 1 minute at a time.
Inappropriate,
I'm leaning on God. So how can you be a better steward of your days? Well, welcome the next trial as a friend that forces you to slow down and live, utterly dependent on God. So thank him for his grace and ask him for help. That's his wisdom for numbering your days.
Wow.
Johnny Erickson.
That is awful. I mean, I just feel bad for those people because you could see, dude, like, I don't know. I would be someone that would, I don't know, encourage people to like live in accordance with like mindfulness practices and stuff like that rather than, God stuff. Because like, if you have the God stuff, like you have to contend with the, why did he do this to me? And there's a purpose, but I can barely move or whatever. Like what? It doesn't like pan out, right? Like if you are just a person on Earth that is the result of biological, evolution and whatnot, it makes sense. And you just kind of like go, okay, look, I'm just going to accept the things that I cannot change and I can't do anything about. And I'm just going to live each moment and enjoy each moment. And I'm not going to be attached to anything or anything like that. Just mindfulness practices, whatever. Like, I feel like that is a way better way to go than what, than the religious Jesus crap they push.
Tada, a hero of the faith. If there is ever an updated version of the Faith Hall of Fame in Hebrews chapter 11, I am positive Johnny Erickson Tada will be listed among history's heroes. She is the real deal. If I have ever seen her, and my kids had the honor of interning.
What does she do? I don't even know who this lady is.
At Johnny and Friends Ministry. Johnny does live moment to moment by grace. And she's the one who often said, and our children remember her saying, God permits what he hates to accomplish what he loves. And if anyone had reason to doubt the faithfulness of God, it would be this beautiful woman with a heart of gold who's been in a wheel.
Did you just say, like, if anybody should be fucking pissed at God, it's that lady. And she's not, she's jobbing it, dude. She's jobbing it.
Wheelchair as a quadriplegic for 50 years. And she still says, I would rather be in this wheelchair with Jesus than on my feet without him. She's amazing. Check her out and the ministry, Johnny and Friends, at johnnyandfriends.org.
Johnny? That was Johnny?
All right, the next video is a clip from the Ben Shapiro show when he interviewed John MacArthur. Take a look.
Obviously, I'm not a believer in the divinity of Jesus, but when I see what Jesus actually has to say about the Old Testament, it seems to me very similar to the stuff that Zechariah.
Are these viral videos or are these just random videos that this kid wants to show his dad? I don't feel like these are viral. None of these seem, you know what I mean? Like they just don't feel like that.
Is saying that's not unique to Jesus. In other words, there's a long prophetic tradition of people saying exactly that.
When you hear even the people in his time saying, never a man spoke like this man, he is a person that doesn't seem to have been a product of human invention. And you can say, well, Jesus is a good teacher, but good teachers don't claim to be God. They don't say I and God are one. They don't say I created the universe.
Dude, that's like the only thing he said. Yeah, like he doesn't actually say anything. I don't understand. Like they're like, oh, this just doesn't seem like something anybody would invent. Yeah, the fuck it does. Because you have to accept the fact that he is God in order to have all and you got to accept that first, then read all the things that he says and go, remember, everything he says is super duper awesome and amazing, and you got to figure it out. Why? Because he's God. And then you read the words and it's a bunch of fucking nonsense. But because you started with that presupposition that he is God, then it's got to be awesome. So people all look through his words like they're not just nonsense. but it's not something that humans would invent. Jesus Christ.
You cannot come to Jesus and just patronize him as a noble, good Jewish teacher.
That's right.
Because he crossed a line. He crossed a severe line. And the Jews saw that. Either he's the Messiah or he is a blasphemer and he needs to be put to death. And those are really the choices.
What's a Trinitarian? I'm not really familiar with that. What's up, Big Nick? Thanks for coming back. Big Nick's a Christian. Yeah. No, it's not that Big Nick. We don't think anyway. We're not you're not that Big Nick, right? You're not that one. What was his actual name? I always forget. But he just goes by his actual name these days. But what do you mean? You don't have to be. Wait, Trinitarians believe Jesus is God? Huh. Okay. That just doesn't seem like that should be what that Trinity, like I feel like it would mean something about the Trinity, right? That doesn't have to, okay. It just means that Jesus is God. Yeah, well, I mean, they voted. The reason that people believe that Jesus is God, Jesus didn't never really say clearly anyway, that he was God, but it was like voted on. I want to say like in the Council of Nicaea, it was like the early church fathers voted on it, and it didn't pass by a lot either. By the way, it was like almost half and half, but it did win that Jesus is God according to that vote, and so that's they recorded it, and that's how you figure out true things about reality. Did you vote on it?
That's right. Yeah, John's nailing it. Johnny Mac is the bomb. John is the OG when it comes to biblical gospel.
Well, I mean, he referred to God as his father. Did he say, "I am the Son of God"? He said those words. And if he did, let me see the verse, because I want to, look that up. But yeah, I mean, but God's all of our fathers, right? Like anybody could be like my Father in heaven. People do actually say my Father in heaven a lot,
Truth. And you cannot patronize Jesus that way. I see people doing this all the time. Everybody wants to.
I know voting doesn't determine. It was wow. Okay. You know what?
Have a little Jesus, and they want to just.
I was being sarcastic, man. Okay.
Refer to him as a prophet, a good teacher, a very kind man who demonstrated self-sacrifice. He was so much more than that. Jesus was either the creator.
Look at this little tiny thing. Look at his on. He's got this little tiny Jesus. He's on. It's so cute.
Creator of the universe, or a freaking madman.
He's like, Jesus is super awesome. Look, I have a Lego of Jesus. Now this guy, he's phenomenal. All right. I need a bigger one. This is weird. Holding on to that. Why is he so small? Okay. We need like a Raggedy Ann doll size Jesus for this sort of bit.
Who ought to be just written off as a lunatic because he said that he and God the Father were one. He said things that nobody else said, and it got him crucified.
No, I mean, he was flipping tables and had a political following. And that got him crucified. But, you were close. Like, it's the stuff he said. No, it wasn't. It was the flipping of the tables and whipping people in the temples there. Can't be doing that, right? You're really upset. They had to get all that money. And they didn't know whose money was whose, because it was all mixed up on the floor. Because he flipped over all the fucking tables, man. You know how bad that pisses off those people back then? And you know how hard those coins are to pick up? Off of like a sand floor, dude. They just ridiculous,
His own team turned on him. And I've heard Ben Shapiro actually say not only does he not believe in the divinity of Jesus when he was talking with Joe Rogan,
he's Jewish. Of course he doesn't believe in the divinity of Jesus.
Joe asked him about the resurrection. Ben said, no, I don't believe in zombies. So
I mean, that kind of is a zombie. Actually, oh shit, what is he again? It's not a zombie, because zombies, lose their faculties. You know what I mean? Like zombies don't. But it's like a lech or something, or a lek, or what was it again? A meech, essentially. It's something with the chip in it. The CH sound.
Oh,
like something with the chip in there.
Went full zombie on Jesus.
We went full zombie on Jesus. No, Jesus went full zombie when he came back from life and still had all his fucking scars, man. Just showing up with his torture body. You're like, whoa, is that a human? Okay, no, that is. Yeah, wow. You look fucked up, dude. Wow, what happened to you? Did you fall in a meat grinder? What the fuck's going on? Jesus.
Who've experienced the power,
literally, Jesus,
power of God through the Spirit.
A lich, thank you. A lich. He's a lich. It's fun to say, a lich.
Spirit of Jesus, the Spirit that raised him from the dead. The Holy Spirit have transformed us on the inside.
All right, here we go. They never cited flipping the tables as a reason to persecute Christ. They said, I don't know who's they. The Bible? Yeah, I know. Okay, never mind. As a reason to persecute Christ, they said it was because he was himself equal with God, by saying God was his father. Yeah, no. I mean, as far as I understand, according to like the actual Bible scholarship, not not theology stuff, right? Like historian type shit, where it's like kind of differentiates the real Jesus, the real person that possibly lived back then or actually existed, versus the myths that were kind of created about that guy, right? And as far as I understand, like Bart Ehrman and there were some other Bible scholars too that agree. He had a political following, and that scared the Romans, who were the people that actually crucified him. And the Jews didn't like him either, or whatever, or not the Jew, or the Pharisees, because he kept getting in fights with the Pharisees too. So he kind of just pissed everybody off. But from what I understand, that was the final straw. And I'm pretty sure is it Mark? I'm trying to think of which book it is. It chronologically happens right after he does that. But anyway.
And Ben and other people's unbelief is a profoundly spiritual matter. And that's between him and God, which is why we should pray for those who don't know Christ. I love being an American, but one thing I don't love is paying for American health insurance. I'm sure you don't either. That's why my family and I joined Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a health insurance alternative for believers only. Every month, Christian.
If I say who they are, there's an 80% chance YouTube will hide my message. Yeah, that's it. It's because it's the LGBTQ Illuminati. They just control the world. They're fully in charge of YouTube. In fact, they don't even let right wingers have channels around here. Definitely don't let them get views. That's for sure. They shut it down.
Christians around the country chip in to help pay one another's medical bills. It's affordable. It's dependable.
Jesus, how many fucking things are you going to sell, dude? My God. He sells everything.
That notification bells are notified.
Okay. All right, let me see what time it is. How long I don't even know. Dude, YouTube's been acting up lately. 1:47. Okay, we got a little bit more time. I'll go. We'll do one more. Find something funny this time. Find something. Right then, his face going. AI app lets you talk to the dead. Cool. Sounds pretty boring, I feel like, but whatever. Oh yeah, they fucking had the BPD, the Peanut Butter and Dave whatever podcast. They had that Sam Shamoun on, who's like this really arrogant Fundie, who does I've seen him do TikTok debates. It's so funny to see a lot of these TikTok debates that they do. It seems like all they take away from debates is just be confident. Just be confident, and then you're right. Like a con man, like those things, because that's what that's the basis of the word con man. It's a confident man, and it's just like if you just walk in, like The Sting. You ever seen that movie? They were con men, they would con people, right? They just would con bad people, so it was okay. So they were the good guys. But that you just act like you're supposed to be there and act like you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, and then just keep bullshitting, and people just don't question it because of the confidence. And that's how a lot of these guys debate. And it's funny because the stuff they'll be saying is just nothing. Like, it's nonsense. Like, well, actually, God said it's everything. You're like, yeah, but God isn't real. Well, the Bible said about, and they'll just, I don't know, they just act like if they can smart ass you, then they win. And it's like, wow, good job. It's like, I feel like we've gotten to the point now with debate, and maybe I'm wrong, whatever, but it almost feels like people aren't even trying to debate what they actually believe anymore. They're just like, I just want to piss off the other side. I'm just going to say disgusting shit and then, you know, see how they react. And if they get mad, I win, you know, because a person that's angry about what you said couldn't possibly be right. That's impossible. Oh, there it goes. The entire Epstein saga turns on the Democrats. I don't think so, man. What? Because of fucking what's his name being there? The what's his name? Bill Clinton. We already knew he was in there, and he doesn't have any power, dude. It's not like, you know, we don't have Clinton flags. I don't have 17 Clinton flags on my truck, genius. What the fuck? Oh, that's what I was saying. All right, we're doing this one.
Let's react to this video about...
This guy is so stupid. God, he's such an asshole. But boy, is he funny.
Buddhism from a very smart woman.
When I heard what the Buddha said the moment he was enlightened, it sort of changed my life. And maybe it'll change your life too. I have a PhD in philosophy.
Prediction, I already know that it's not going to change my life because my life has already been changed by it.
My life's been changed enough. Okay. And I'm trying to keep it the same. No more changes. I want to just keep, I don't want to learn anything new. I just want to stay knowing the stuff that I knew yesterday and the day before.
Someone better. Jesus Christ, of course. But this lady, PhD in philosophy, let's see.
Achievers find meaning and identity outside their accomplishments. And to fully understand what was so special about what the Buddha said, you need a little bit of context. So the Buddha was born as a prince. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. He was born in the 6th or 7th century BCE. And he was born the child of a king. And as was the tradition of the time, a seer came to the palace to kind of tell the fortune of this young child. And the seer looked at Siddhartha and said, this child will either become a king of kings or a sage of sages.
Yeah, as of now, we know that neither of those things happen. But, you know, let's hear her out.
Now, his father was like, what do you mean a sage of sages? He's going to become a king like me. So what he did in an attempt to prevent his son from following a spiritual path is that he gave him every comfort he could ever possibly want. And the myth goes that the servants went around and even picked up the petals off the flowers that were wilting.
Okay, recognize this. Okay, king, whatever, all the pleasures of life that he could possibly want. This sounds like a biblical character. So please keep that character.
It's far earlier than your biblical characters, but okay.
In mind as you're watching this, okay? What's the difference between the two?
It was first. It was written first, and it's much more likely to be true.
So that he would never have to experience any decay, any loss of beauty. And he grew up this way. He grew up inside the palace grounds. He got married. He fathered a child, and he was living his life. But like so many of us, he wanted to kind of go and see the world. And so he asked his chariot driver to take him outside the palace grounds into the city.
Yeah, the chariot driver. I like that. It's like, hey, chariot driver. That's great. You know, that's like that's his Dr. Gonzo. You know what I mean? It's like just Buddha and his chariot. Buddha's got like his bucket hat on and his Hawaiian shirt. Anyway.
And when he got there, he saw a few things that really disturbed him. First thing he saw was a very sick man. And this man was probably covered in sores. He just looked really in bad shape. And Siddhartha asked his chariot driver, what is with this person? Like,
so what the fuck's wrong with that guy? What's all over his face?
That looks so awful. And his chariot driver responded and said, yes, that man is very sick. And Siddhartha looked at that and said, oh my God.
Oh my what? Yeah. So unironically, this proves that the Buddha knew the one true God deep in his heart. That's why every human being made in the image of God. Is
that a joke? Is he joking right now, or is he? Yeah, I can't tell. The depth of stupid is so deep that I can't tell.
Apparently knows that suffering's not good, lying's not good, murdering is not good, stealing's not good. There's certain things in this world that go on.
Using names that you're not supposed to use is not good. Doing stuff or not honoring a day is not good. That's in there. Yeah, you gotta make sure that you honor Saturday, Friday night, 7 p.m. Sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. But still, you got to honor that shit. That's one of the 10. All right, that's one of the 10 commandments. Okay, honor a fucking day.
And humans,
if you don't, well, I don't even know what to do. Probably going to get a special type of torture from the loving God in hell.
See that and don't like it. Why don't we like these things? It's not just because of some arbitrary feeling that somehow all of us have. It's because we are made to reflect God's image. And as it is right now, we don't do so perfectly. We do so inconsistently because our hearts naturally are blinded. So yes, even
so hold on. Look, our hearts are naturally blinded and we do bad stuff, but our hearts also naturally know what's right and what's wrong. Which is it? Again, dude, like you can't be like, we're naturally evil and then be like, but we naturally know what's good. Which one is it, man?
When the spiritual religious leaders of other false religions, they know the one true God. They suppress that truth and unrighteousness.
Could that ever happen to me? And his driver said, well, yeah, you could get sick. And this was overwhelming for Siddhartha. So he went home. That night he was up all night. He couldn't sleep, but he had to know more. So the next day he goes out and he sees man is like hunched over, walking with a cane. Looks like he's in a lot of pain. And again, Siddhartha asks what's with this guy. And his chariot driver says, well, he's really old. And Siddhartha says, oh my God.
He's fucking old. That shit just happens, dude. Yeah, shit hurts. The older you get, the hurting it gets. The hurting, the more painful it gets.
It's awful. Could that happen to
the
me?
The hurting it gets. But what the
Mr. Jarvis says, well, yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, you get really old. And again, Siddhartha's overwhelmed. He goes home.
If you're really lucky, you'll get to feel all the pain from getting old. That's what you want. That's what you want to make it so that you get to the point where you get to feel all the pain all the time.
Third day he goes out again. This time he sees a corpse. He asks his driver, and his driver says that man has died.
This sounds like a joke, dude. She's setting this up like a joke. So then first he sees someone with swords. He's like, what's that all about? Secondly, he sees somebody getting old. Then he sees somebody dead, and he's like, what is that? Does that happen to everybody? What? Me? No, not me. I'm not ever going to be that guy, okay?
Siddhartha says, could that happen to me? And says, well, yeah. You might have sickness, you might have old age, but no one's ever going
I didn't plan that. I was just joking.
To escape death. Siddhartha goes home. He is full of existential dread. He's suffering.
Yeah. So once again, the scriptures teach this. Again, it's true. If you want to be able to talk,
the scriptures teach what happened to Buddha. Really?
Anybody of any false religion and refute every false religion, all you have to do is know your Bible and believe it. Humans by nature fear death. Hebrews chapter 2 tells us this. Jesus partook of flesh and blood like the rest of us.
Dude, why don't you let her finish like what she hasn't even gotten to the goddamn point yet, dude. And you're already just like, yeah, he's afraid of death. Yeah, a lot of the Bible says that everybody's afraid of death. Look right here. Which is not true, by the way. Everybody is not afraid of death. Some of us are afraid of the process in which it happens. The non-existing portion. No, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need to keep existing.
Humans, so that through death he might render powerless him who had the power of death, that is the devil, and might free those who through fear of death were subject to slavery all their lives. So this is talking about Christians. They have been set free from this fear of death because Jesus died for our sins. He conquered death for us. So this is a good verse to remember. It reminds us that every non-believer fears death.
So they do this thing where they're like, I'm not afraid of death. And they're like, I am so not afraid of death that I believe a whole thing that says that I get to go on living forever in a magical amusement park in the sky with my friends and family for all eternity, as long as I think. Luckily, the stuff that I think. So it's cool. We're good. Not afraid of death though. God damn it. Okay. That stuff, death is fine. I'm fine with it. Okay. That's why I'm gonna definitely keep on existing for all eternity in a magical amusement park because I'm not doing the death and I'm not afraid of it.
No matter what they say on the surface, we're going to know you really do fear death. You do not have hope. You do not have assurance of salvation in this false religion over here. And they're also going to admit that. They're going to say, they might say that they don't fear death, but then on the other hand say, oh, I hope I still live in the next life or something. I hope I'm saved. I'm doing all these good works. And I don't know if I'm ever doing.
They don't see, this is like just a fundamental misunderstanding of Buddhism. The whole issue is to live now, live right this second. You're not concerning yourself with death because that's not for you to be concerned with right now. Be concerned with this, with right now, with your, just the present. Be present. That's like the main thing. It's not like Buddhism does it. That's why I kind of like Buddhism, is that it doesn't bother itself to like this happens after you die. Like people say like, oh yeah, they believe in reincarnation and stuff like that, but it kind of, that's missing the point. They're just, all they're doing when they say reincarnation is true. They're like looking at the way the world works, and all they see is cycles of birth, life, decay, death, and then it starts over again. And that's everywhere in nature. So they're like, probably happens afterwards, but that's not the point. That's not that it doesn't matter. The point is to live in the present and have compassion for all living creatures, and don't get attached to anything, because then you cause yourself suffering when you don't need to. When you feel pain, just accept that pain. Acceptance, radical acceptance of pain is just a part of life, and when you fight against it mentally, it makes it hurt worse, because you're like, I shouldn't be feeling this right now. It's not fair. Don't they just accept it, and then it's weird. The pain doesn't hurt as much. It's kind of crazy how that works. And they also do meditation so that you can learn to be present better. Then also respond, don't react. Actually think, figure out the difference between what you can control, what you can't control, and don't let things that you can't control rob you of your peace. Doesn't mean that you don't care about anything. Doesn't mean that you don't fight for politics that help other people and stuff. You just don't let it rob your peace. It's more of a personal thing, not a political thing. So I've just heard people be like, oh, well, I'm still gonna fight if there's injustice. Yeah, fight injustice, but don't let things that you can't control rob you of your peace. Don't let it control the way you feel.
Enough, because I don't have assurance. Christ is the only person who offers assurance to his followers, because his followers' salvation rests on his works, not theirs. Okay, so here's a guy, sees a dead man. Oh, that sucks. I'm afraid. Yeah, you always will be with that.
You don't even know if that's what he was saying, man. You don't know the point of the story at all, dude.
Oh, Christ. So
sickness, old age, and death, it's overwhelming. So the next day he goes out again, and this time he sees this man who looks so peaceful, and he's not wearing many clothes, and he's very thin, and he asks his driver, what's with this guy? Doesn't he know about sickness, old age, and death? His driver says, well, yes, he does, but he's a renunciate, a sadhu. He's a holy man. He has found the freedom from the suffering of sickness, old age, and death. So Siddhartha's he goes home, he's like, that's it, I'm out, I gotta go. So he says goodbye to his wife and child, and he leaves his family, and he leaves the palace, and he goes into the woods, and he renounces everything, which was sort of the tradition of the time. Finds the most renowned gurus and teachers of the time, and he learns all of these meditations.
By the way, when Jesus says to us today, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father, mother, wife, children, brothers, and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. He did not mean leave your wife, children, don't take care of them, and never contact them ever again. That's not what this is talking about. It is talking.
Well, really, I'm glad that you brought up this part, because I'm actually pretty curious as to your fucking brain rot interpretation of this shit. Because from what I understand, this is just cult leader shit. This is, you got to do what I want you to do. You got to hate anybody that might tell you not to do what I want you to do, even yourself, really. If you think, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because, I'm just following some weirdo and acting like he has all the answers, and I'm giving up my entire life for this guy. Maybe I shouldn't shut up. No, hate that person. Hate you have to hate your own life. Now do everything I say. It's cult leader shit. But go on, buddy.
About laying the foundation, which is Christ. Following Christ means you shall love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then you shall love your neighbor as yourself, your wife as yourself, your children, brothers, and sisters. Proper love for God will allow you to properly love your wife, children, brothers, and sisters. And
how does that? How is that an interpretation of the like hate part of you got to hate your father and hate your mother and everything? Well, he's just like, well, that's just the foundation. And then later, another verse basically contradicts this one. It says you got to love everybody, just God the most. So, that actually is the verse that matters, not this one. I know they say opposing things, but this book is full of that.
And it would guard you from a sickening evil, such as abandoning them and never talking to them again. 1 Timothy 5 says, if anyone does not provide for
he shows up. Hey, we're at Punk Apostate. Oh, fuck, it's a Nick guy. Oh my God, who let him in? God damn it, Kevin. Why did you let that big Nick guy in? What the? Thought we had this conversation earlier. Nitty doesn't like the big Nick person. You were supposed to be watching the door.
For his own, and especially for those
God damn it, Kevin.
Of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. The Bible presupposes that even unbelievers take care of their own people. Okay, abandoning your own.
The Bible Stop using the word presuppose. You don't know what that word means, dude. You have no idea what you're saying when you say that word. That made no sense. The Bible presupposes that non-believers will take care of the people they love. What the fuck?
People, your own household, wife, children, so on.
You mean just like the Bible says? The Bible even says that unbelievers will love it because it's got, it doesn't have anything to do with your religion being true or anything. Yeah, everybody wants to help the people they love.
Seen as something that not even unbelievers do. That's just common.
It's ironic because like this book actually says to like kill your own kid if they talk back or get drunk with the help of the entire town, by the way. So, which is great. Good parenting, It also says that you hate your kid if you don't beat them.
Indecency that pretty much everyone should have.
With a rod.
Right. Even the evil people do this thing. Another example of that would be when Jesus says that, hey, you evil people know how to give your children eggs and fish. You actually feed your children. It's like, yes, all of us have sinned and have fallen short of the glory of God. But even most sinners don't stoop so low as to not feed their own children and let them die and abandon them. So
But I thought you said, you just said a minute ago that the reason God has to exist is because we all instinctively do good things and know what's harmful is bad, not because God or anything like that, because we don't instinctively know that your religious dictates are true, but we know things that would go against our autonomy are bad because we wouldn't want to have our autonomy violated. And so that's why we don't do it to other people, because then you encourage that kind of behavior and then that behavior will come back on you. That's how it's a categorical imperative, dude. This is not difficult.
The person she's describing in this video is worse than an unbeliever. Someone who is going to suffer immensely in the fires of hell on the day of judgment and perish.
There's no, gotta love it when they say this stuff. There is no proof, nor is there disproof. Now that'd be the no proof part. That would be the and you just needed the first part. It's either you prove that it's true, or we don't have a reason to think it is. That's how that goes.
And he experiences states of great bliss. He tries kind of the opposite approach of getting
bliss based on what? Oh yeah, I'm so happy. I'm not suffering or whatever. What about you?
No, that's not it. You accept suffering as one of the four constants or whatever. Is it four constants? Pain, right? Uncertainty, change, and what is it? Three? I can't remember. Yeah, but it's pain, uncertainty, and what's or just everything changes all the time. Can't think of what it is.
Your kids, about your wife.
Thor says it in the one. Fucking God damn it. I always forget the exact word. It just means things change. Anyway.
Family, anybody. No, this is the religion of selfishness. That's what Buddhism is. Now, of course, I'm in the West. I don't interact with Buddhists all that often, but everything that I have seen about Buddhism, it does seem particularly selfish, more selfish than like Islam, perhaps. Because even in Islam, you have this Sharia law where the focus is society. We want society, like as a whole, to get better. And of course, they have their own sick, twisted version of that. But at least that's better than, hey, you focus on yourself, abandon your family, abandon everything, seek personal enlightenment. It's all about you.
Are you stupid, man? It's not saying everybody. Oh my God. They don't know how to listen, dude. Like, that's not what Buddhism says. It doesn't say to do anything like that. It's just telling you how to have peace in life. It's not saying that you should go leave. Like, everybody doesn't have to be a fucking monk. Do you think only monks exist? Like, only Buddhist monk? That's like thinking that everybody is a nun. Like, God says that like everybody has to go not have sex and go like work in a nunnery or whatever the fuck. That's just one group of people that happen to be Buddhist. That's not what Buddhism teaches. You don't know the religion at all. It's not a religion. I mean, yeah, I don't know. How do you have a religion without a deity? They don't believe in a God. So
it's evil. That's straight up, again, worse than an unbeliever.
Full of the comfort, denying himself.
And what I think maybe he might be confusing is they have the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, which just means you can't help other people if you're in disarray. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself and, you know, you don't have everything, if you can take care of yourself first, make sure you're all right, then you can better help the people around you, you know, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I mean, maybe he's pulling from that, but I didn't even hear her say anything about that. It was just how to have peace. And it's all about your individual relationship with yourself and reality. It doesn't say anything about what, you know, because Christians are so simple. It's like everything has to mean this instructive stuff. And it's like, oh, Buddha, you know, went and did this thing. That means you have to do it. That's not how it works, dude. That I know just because you think you have to have all of your behaviors like prescribed to you. Not everybody lives that way. Other philosophies and stuff are like, no, you be you. You figure out who you are and you do what you do best, whatever that is, you know. But here's how to have peace while you're doing it. You know, here's how to not be flipping out all the time. Here's how to not get angry or fearful or whatever, you know, just enjoy the moment, enjoy your life. Here's how to do it. That's Zen Buddhism, but that's the kind I like.
Of any comforts at all. You know, he's like wearing itchy clothes.
Again, deny yourself. That's a biblical phrase, but not in the way that
Buddhism was first, dude. Buddhism far earlier, like by a lot. By like 500 years or some shit.
She's talking about it. And once again, the scriptures themselves explain this. I don't have to reinterpret the Bible. Oh, how do you know that that's what Jesus meant? Again, Colossians chapter 2. If you have died with Christ to the elementary principles of the world, why, as if you were living in the world, do you submit yourself to decrees? Do not handle, do not taste, nor touch, which deal with everything destined to perish with use, which are in accordance with the commands and teachings of men, which are matters having, to be sure, a word.
It's so amazing that like they can read this stuff and pretend that they like could just, it's so obvious that what it's trying to say here. And it's just like complete, like that, like you have to like reinterpret this shit like a million different ways. And it is reinterpreted in a million different ways, which is why you have so many different doctrines and so many different denominations and so many different whatever, you know, all that shit.
Of wisdom in self-made religion and self-abasement and severe treatment of the body, but are of no value against fleshly indulgence. What's wearing itchy clothes going to do for your pride problem, Mr. Buddha? Mr. Leave your family and think that's a good thing, Buddha. This is very clearly what the Bible describes as.
He left, okay. He didn't leave like his family. Like he left his parents and shit, dude.
Self-made, human-made religion. Oh, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to go through all this suffering that I'm going to put onto myself so that I can become enlightened and become a better person and blah, 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 blah.
He wanted to empathize that, because again, this is like where it comes back with like pain and suffering is just being something that everybody experiences. And for some reason, when you think about it that way, it's less it hurts less, right? Because you're just like, okay, everybody experiences pain. And so I think in this part of the story, I don't know exactly all the, everything that Buddha did or whatever. I know a lot of the different stories, but I think what he's doing is he's trying to empathize with the people. He wants to see what they experienced, what it feels like, so that he can go, oh, that's what it's like to be like that. Because it's all about like human connection and love for all living creatures.
Now, I thank God for sending Jesus to suffer in my place so that I don't have to. I still might suffer, but just not to the extent that he did. Thank God for that. This is where true enlightenment is, thanking God for what he has done, accepting him as everything that I need. And so because he loves me so much, I'm going to love my neighbor. I'm not going to abandon my family. I'm not going to be so self-focused my entire life. I'm actually encouraged by God to regard everybody else as more important.
Oh, he left. Oh, man. Too bad. Yeah, that guy was fun,
than myself.
Sleeping on the ground, barely eating, and he's in bad shape, right?
Again, go back earlier in this video, wandering around. Oh, what's wrong with this person? Oh, that looks so sad. Imagine someone walking up.
Oh, that's a great point. Hold on. I wasn't really reading through. I was kind of like enthralled in this whole little video adventure that I got going on, this YouTube cinematic adventure that we got going on over here. But this is a good point from Gretchen. Saying because you call God objective truth, even though there's no proof or disproof, that's straight up illogical. Yeah, that is pretty good. It is weird how they're just like, it's got to be objective. You don't believe in objective truth. And it's like, I don't know if they get hung, like, I don't know why they get hung up on like the objective shit, because like I don't think most of us say that there's not an objective truth. I thought that was like kind of our point, is that there is an objective truth and you're the one lying to yourself, but they're like, no, but I believe it's an objective truth because God is the reason for objective truth. Somehow those are connected. They're somehow, somebody explained it to me really good, and any deviation from that truth there, that connection, is a fallacy. Jay Dyer, he's done. I can't do it myself, but Jay will tell you. Okay.
To the Buddha here, he looks sad. He looks like he's not having a good time. I hope that doesn't happen to me. But thank God it didn't happen to me. Thank God that he protected me from believing such.
Maybe finish the fucking story, dude. We're not all supposed to be Buddha, you fucking idiot.
Nonsense.
So he does this for 6 years, but he still cannot find freedom, ultimate freedom from the suffering of sickness.
Yeah. This is because you're a human being, right? You notice that?
Yeah. And we all suffer is the point.
Fascinating discovery.
So he finally gets fed up with all this and he says, that's it. I'm sitting under this tree and I'm not moving until I find the answer. He's visited by the god Mara, who is the demon of craving and delusion.
False god, by the way. Yeah.
And Mara,
it's not really a god, but it's all right. When they're called, damn it, I can't think of what they're called, but they're called something different than gods, but they're supernatural creatures or whatever. But like there's no creator god, which to me, if you use the word God, like I feel like that's what is implied 90% of the time, right? That it's a creator God. Like you use the word God because it created stuff, right? But none of the supernatural beings in Buddhism created anything. So and they're not called gods.
makes all these sort of temptations to try take him off this path. He says, I'll give you every comfort you could ever want for the rest of your life. You should go back to your family. I can't believe you left them. Why?
Is it really a temptation for someone?
Just like envision like him being dragged out crying. I don't want to go. And he's like doing that thing, where the kid just makes himself dead weight. You're like, okay. Dan Steele's like dragging. He's like, just like,
hey, your wife and kids, they need their father. How's that a temptation? Hey, even the false gods can say something right every now and then.
What are you doing here? Siddhartha stays firm. Last temptation from Mara.
Stays firm on the evil foundation that is his own made-up religion. Yeah.
Says this. He says, look, okay. Even if you
What the fuck are you talking about? He didn't. It's not a religion. Oh my God.
do achieve enlightenment and find the answer, you're here by yourself. You left your family behind, you left all your teachers behind, you're sitting here by yourself. Even if you find the answer, who is going to even care? Who's going to witness you?
Damn, Nitty even banned him? Wow. I didn't think that was possible. Nitty doesn't ban anybody, dude. My goodness, like Nick Fuentes was in his chat the other day. I'm not kidding. That was, and I was like, what, really?
And Siddhartha reaches down toward the earth and he says, this earth will witness me. And the moment his fingers touch the ground, he becomes enlightened. For me, this changed so much because I really feel this, that the earth witnesses me. And maybe you can feel a little.
No, the earth.
No clue what the hell she's talking about. But okay. Yeah, no, go for it. I feel like the earth witnesses me. You see in this, buddy? Like, what did they call what?
It doesn't have eyes. I mean, seriously, it doesn't take much to refute false.
Yeah, and you pretend to cannibalize an undead carpenter ghost that you think lives in your heart. You don't get to say shit.
It's religion guy. Ooh, I feel like the earth is watching me. Okay. Source, please. You feel.
Oh, that requires a source. You can just make up shit as far as like interpretations from your book, but anything saying anything else, like source. Is there an objective scientific study that's been peer reviewed with double blinds that says that? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like it. Well, I feel like Christianity is true, therefore repent and believe the good news. See, if I work by their rules, Christianity is true anyway. If we can just feel our way to truth and enlightenment, then I can feel my way right back into Christianity. And you're all wrong. Again, I only have a couple videos on.
You have no idea what it's even about, man. That was just the story of Buddha. Like, they didn't actually say anything, and that was honestly kind of disappointing. I was like hoping they would go through the middle path and like balance and all that type of stuff, the yin and the yang, like all that shit. None of it. None of that. She's just like, he touched the earth and became enlightened, and I feel like the earth is witnessing me. That's your Buddhist. Okay. Like, there are so many better Buddhist videos, dude, but
Eastern religions, and generally they're going to be more tolerant toward other religions.
Hey, Ryan, what's going on? What's up?
Like the Muslims, they really hate Christianity, right? But the Buddhists and the Hindus, they're going to be very soft towards Christianity and might even say that Jesus.
Yeah, because they're kind of like soft towards everybody, because they don't. They're about compassion for all living creatures. That thing that you could probably learn a thing or two from.
Was, an enlightened form of the highest being that actually isn't personal. So if you talk to a Buddhist or a Hindu or someone, they're just going to be fine with it.
It's not personal. What did he just say? Because again, it's like he doesn't understand it.
Towards Christianity, and might even say that Jesus was, an enlightened form of the highest being that actually isn't personal. So if you talk to a Buddhist or a Hindu or someone, they're just going to be
what? Some people try to like tie Jesus to Buddhism and say that he was just an enlightened being. Okay. But the stuff he says is like pretty anti-Buddhist. I mean, if you're going by the Bible, I guess they could have their own versions of the stories or something.
Fine with you if you tell them that you're a Christian and you worship Jesus and everything. It's just they're going to be
compassion and acceptance equals soft. Yeah, that feminized religion.
Extremely offended if you tell them that actually Jesus doesn't allow you, as a Buddhist or a Hindu, someone who holds to a different religion, that you can't do that and you have to come to Christianity. That's something that is so foreign to them and would actually be evil in their eyes. But of course, that's contradictory because on Buddhism, on Hinduism, everything's relative anyways. There's different ways to connect with the divine, blah, blah, blah. Now, quickly, let's look at some of the top comments.
What? I don't know what he's saying. It's all relative as far as Buddhism goes. Again, I don't know if Buddhism doesn't have compassion for all living creatures. It says to like even like wish safety and comfort and shit like that on your enemies, on the people you hate or whatever, or dislike quite a bit, whatever you want to say. And it's about, it actually helps. But like I don't know as if it has like a moral framework structure. I'm sure there is something or whatever, but like as far as I understand, it's like Zen Buddhism again. It's just how to be okay, how to be happy, how to be peaceful, how to love life and live it fully. That's it. It's not. I don't know as if it has like it doesn't have a fucking rule book of like how to behave and stuff. As far as I know,
it's because I believe that this is a demonstration that Romans chapter 2 is true. Maybe not this one though. There are a lot of comments saying that he abandoned his family, making him selfish, so not actually enlightened. But the fact is, it's not about his family; it's about himself. Enlightenment is the most selfish act.
I think I pissed Nitty off with the Nick Fuentes thing. I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Nick Fuentes wasn't actually in Nitty's chat. That was a joke. That was a joke. Kevin, can we correct? We got to cut that. No, not this. That before what I said. Well, I don't know. I think it pissed Nitty off. Well, just I don't know. Take out all of it then. I don't know.
And it's a good thing. So here we have narcissism being promoted. Right. I mean, do you really think that Sam?
Let's see. Oh, damn, of course, there's shit in front of it. Abandoned his family. Oh, making him. Wait, there are a lot of comments saying that he abandoned his family, making him selfish, so not actually enlightened. But the fact is, it's not about his family. It is about himself. Enlightenment is the most selfish act, and it is a good thing. See, yeah, again, they're gonna, because Christianity, one of the things that Christianity does, and I feel like Ryan talks about this quite a bit, is like the way that they get in your brain and control you. And one of the best ways to control you is to tell you that you shouldn't make your own choices. You should deny yourself. You should have a servant's heart. You should, that serving yourself is bad. That's selfish. Don't take care of yourself. Take care of me. Take care of like the other people. Like, do what I tell you to do. Don't do what you think you should do that's good for you. Abandon yourself and make yourself available to everybody else, right? Which is leads to like people pleasing behavior and stuff like that. It's really traumatic and damaging. But it's one of the ways that they break your spirit so that they can control you.
Bell here is going to say the same thing when school shooter goes out. Oh, I'm enlightened.
Yeah, it's that cult. It's like cult type stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like people that were in high control, which it sounds like this kid came right out of. People from high control religious communities, where there's a lot of like snitching and shit like that, telling on each other, rebuking each other. You need to repent. Bring in the other brothers, like, you got a crowd of people showing up. Brantley, we got to talk. I heard that you went and saw a rated R movie. Rated R? How'd you even get into that? You're 13 years old, kiddo. What do you think you're doing? Just go into a rated. I think you need to repent. I'm gonna need you to go up to the front of the church. We're gonna tell everybody why you stand up there and everybody judges you. Okay, we're going to use you as an example for the sermon that day.
Doing everything for myself? No, I highly doubt that any Buddhist is going to say that that is a good thing. Good for him. He went on his path of enlightenment, which meant shooting up schools. Right. He abandoned his family and responsibilities for his own enlightenment. Well, you see, on Buddhism, his responsibility is to become enlightened. His responsibility was to abandon his family. On Buddhism, that's a perfectly valid response. But you see, to anyone who is made in the image of God, we realize how insane that actually is.
You're not, oh my God. Like, they're all so hyper-focused on this family, like that it was Buddha. That was just how he, that was just how he became enlightened. Those aren't the rules of fucking Buddhism, man. This is such a weird, like, tangent. It has nothing to do with the teachings of Buddha or anything like that, or mindfulness or any of that type of stuff. They're like so focused on this abandoning his family thing.
That is hate.
I'm pretty sure he was young. It was like his parents. They're not talking about him leaving his kids, right? Anyway,
hatred of neighbor, and every human inherently knows that that's wrong. And again, this idea of, oh, the dirt is watching me. Ooh, even if everybody else hates me, then I'm still fine with the dirt.
Do you think that the dirt became a person and then a woman had to be created from the rib from the dirt male? Okay. You don't get to say stuff, man.
Dirt, I guess. The dirt is your God in that scenario. But doesn't that just sound like a twisted version of Christianity? Hey, I'm not here to please all of you people. I'm here to please God. If God tells me to love my...
What's up, Brett? Yeah, no, that is Buddha. My way or the highway. And he famously sang a song about being on the highway to hell. Those two things aren't connected, but they have the same word.
Neighbor as myself and proclaim the good news. And if everyone hates me, that's fine, because God sees me and he's going to bless me for this. Every religion has that kind of thing. Every human, even atheists, they have this innate desire to be seen and heard, and of course, loved by somebody or something. Ooh, nature, the dirt loves me and sees me.
You think that an undead carpenter ghost lives inside your heart that has to love you, man, which is really sad. I'm sorry, but that's just it's like, well, at least my invisible undead carpenter ghost loves me. Everybody else hates me, but at least that thing loves me.
You can say that. You don't actually believe that. Nobody believes that.
That's
These people are self-deceived. That's $1 million word. You're going to have to remember that.
Self-deceived. What is that? That's what is that?
Deception is a real thing. It's when people know the truth, but they hate the truth. So they suppress the truth. They don't want the truth. They act like they don't know the truth. They purposely pick these things over here to believe, to try to replace the truth, but they can't do it because deep down it's still there. You can't get rid of the knowledge of God in your heart, the moral law. They push all that down because they like their sin
Unbelievable.
more. This idea of holiness.
God, listen, it's so crazy, the type of like fucking rationalization. It's cope. It's like the cope, you know? It's like that copium or whatever. Like they have to believe that everybody else just knows they're right. Like that's how insecure these people are. They have to like rationalize around and be like, actually, everybody knows that I'm right. Because otherwise they're like, what if I'm wrong? But they can't think that, right? They can't think that what if I'm wrong? So they have to just, instead of going, what if I'm wrong? I could be wrong, but I'm just going to base my conclusions off of the evidence. No, they have to go, everybody else knows that I'm right. And that makes me feel better.
Oh, I have abandoned everything. I've done the right thing. I have found enlightenment. I am so wise. Yeah.
I was going to say every religious person is self-deceived. And I mean, and it's speaking of like self-deception or whatever, like the whole reason why skepticism exists in the first place is because of the reality of self-deception. We acknowledge that reality of humanity, that we have a tendency to deceive ourselves, to make things simple, to boil things down into black and white, yes and no, right and wrong. Because it just, it's because things are complicated, and that makes it, more difficult. And so we will lie to ourselves to make things easier. But the answer is not to lie to yourself and then say that everybody knows that your lie that you're telling yourself is actually the true thing that everybody else believes too. It's just recognize that self-deception is something that, affects all of us. So maybe like keep an eye on it. Just acknowledge it as a reality. And then that way you can check, there's ways to check. That's the whole point of logic, right? Is to make sure that you're not believing things that don't make sense just to make yourself feel better, but, yeah, anyway.
As they became fools, right? Abandon his wife and child. See, these people are Romans 2 in action. This free Palestine, like even people who I would disagree with on 99.9% of issues, they can watch a video like this about the Buddha's disgusting experiences and say, yeah, that's just weird.
Disgusting experiences.
That's wrong. That's evil. But when we ask them to be consistent, they're also going to expose that they desire sin as well. He left.
It's so funny too, because like, I thought that the whole thing that like Jesus left heaven, and became a man, right? And abandoned his family in heaven, his father and all that, right? And became a man and sacrificed his comfort, and his health and everything for humanity, how is that not the same shit that Buddha did? Right? I thought it was supposed to be like, oh, he sacrificed it so that he could come to enlightenment and then teach the enlightenment to humanity. So he sacrificed his royal life as a prince for the enlightenment so he could, provide that for everybody. It's like self-sacrifice. And yet they take it, and it's like they believe almost like a similar thing. But because they're starting from that premise he's starting from that premise that this religion is evil, I got to find a way to rationalize it and make it evil. And so he abandoned his family, like he just left his like starving children or some shit.
His wife and children to find himself.
No.
That's how I know he was not enlightened.
He was young, dude. He didn't have children. Oh my God.
Selfish and full of himself.
As far as I understand it, anyway. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure the family that he left was his parents.
The last bit is nice though. The earth will witness us all. Again, you just want to personify the dirt for some reason. Do you really think that your average atheist would have a problem with this statement right here?
And again, I think you're saying like the earth is watching us. The other thing is that like we're all connected with nature. That's the other part. Like all of nature is connected, and technically that's true. According to actual science, that evolutionary biology and going back to the chemical evolution and things like that, we all came from the same place.
Replace the earth with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is watching all of us at all times. That's where the offense comes in, of course, because Jesus is the cornerstone. To us, he's precious, but to them, he's a stumbling block. So even the Buddha left his child behind to be raised.
To us, he's precious, but to them, he's a stumbling block. Okay.
His absence, but the child's mother found enlightenment in half the time and without abandoning her responsibilities. Interesting. This is why I left my wife and kids. Yeah, we got to get enlightened. Abandon your family, guys. That's a path to enlightenment. Anyways, now you know a little bit about Buddhism and its history. Yes, what she was
Learned
saying.
nothing about Buddhism. Holy shit, dude. Maybe like look up something that's actual. Oh my, so frustrating. You look up an Alan Watts video or something, like a normal person, and not those AI ones where they took his voice. Those are freaky, That's just, that is weird the way they do that to people.
In that video, that's accurate. The guy left his family because he was a selfish dirtbag. That goes contrary to what Jesus taught us in the scriptures. If you want a religious leader who was consistent in his beliefs and taught good things rather than evil things, and go to Jesus Christ.
No, not teaching that you should hate your mom and your dad or anything, even though he taught that, but he didn't mean it. He meant the opposite of that, but because of a different verse, it says the opposite of that. But he taught good stuff.
That's right. If you ever come to a Buddhist and they actually don't really know the history of Buddhism and they're only in it for the feel good stuff, like, oh, decrease desire, and then you're gonna.
Oh, okay, my bad. So he did have kids. His wife had it. It was fine. It was good.
The increase.
They were staying with the royal family. They're fine.
Fulfillment and enlightenment. Blah blah blah. Just tell them where their beliefs.
I always pictured him being young, but I guess that makes. I didn't realize that. That's funny. Named his son Shackle as a symbol of giving up worldly possessions. You're a shackle, kiddo. You're shackling me to the. Oh God, that's great. But that kid didn't grow up to be traumatized at all.
It came from an evil man. The better option, of course, is Jesus Christ, who didn't abandon any of his family members. He guarantees salvation.
And as far as I understand too, and I could, again, I don't know a whole lot about the history of these religions and stuff. I just, have found a lot of the tenets of Buddhism very helpful in certain perspectives, specifically with like getting over addiction and shit like that. Buddhism is very helpful, or at least the mindfulness practices of like Zen Buddhism. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, but I don't, because as far as I understand, like Buddhism is like a derivative of Hinduism, but it was just like minus all the gods and stuff. Like, and I've heard people say that like Buddhism is Hinduism stripped down for mass production. So it's just like, you take out all this other shit, the extra parts. It's just here's how you live peacefully or whatever. Here's how you have peace. And that's it. There's nothing else to it, but because, Hinduism has like billions of gods or whatever the fuck. It's all over the place. But yeah. Oh, Buddha's son also reached enlightenment. So there, okay, see, he actually helped his son. Now, if he hadn't abandoned his son to go find that enlightenment, nobody would be enlightened. Okay?
Eternal life, not this endless cycle of death, rebirth, and suffering, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe
all the stuff that actually does exist that is demonstrative.
One day you can cease to exist. Such great news, apparently.
There he is. Dr. Kip, what's up, man? How you doing? Weird as shit. Now I can't think of the question I was going to ask you. Does anybody remember what the person was wrong about before with the Bible, with this stuff? Oh, it was something with Daniel. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember. It was something with the book of Daniel, though. Damn it. Now I'm like mad because I really do actually want to know. But what's up? Let me read what you said. So my closest friend in the department where I taught in Norway is a New Testament scholar who also writes books about mindfulness. Hell yeah. Love it. So you can wait. Are they a Christian too? Are they a Christian Bible scholar? I hear there's a lot of those. Just saying, and nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, but no, that's cool. I actually love it, dude. That shit changed. It like changed my life. I think for the better, not for the worse. Yeah, definitely helpful as far as just how to be. All right, y'all. How long have we been? 2 hours and 40 minutes. Wow, I don't think I've gone this long in a long time. But all right, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Dr. Kip, I gotta go. So no, not a Christian scholar. Oh, wow. Oh, so his wife is Christian though. Okay. So not a Christian Bible. How many is it true that there's like, because I was reading before I go, I gotta ask this. Damn it, who was I reading? Oh, Richard Carrier, I think. Was talking about how the field is overran with Christians, and that's why there's a lot of people saying that Jesus existed when he didn't, because of all those Christians that, and it's like they can't think as critically. It was the on the historicity of Jesus book, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He also did one about Jesus coming from outer space. It's kind of odd, but so far it's interesting. I'm sad I missed your question on Daniel. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch where that came up, because then I'll get back with you another time. I'm gonna start streaming more anyways. Starting to finally feel better. It's not in a lot of pain there for a bit. So yeah, huge numbers of Christian scholars in the field. So that is true. Okay, because I was thinking there was like a lot of people that would like go in as Christians, right? But then learn the scholarship, and they go, never mind. I love the Bible, love the stories. Never mind. I'm not a Christian anymore. Too much information to demonstrate it's not reasonable. So I'm actually, I would think there would be quite a few of those, because it's just interesting to me that people can learn everything and still keep believing. But who am I to judge, right? So the fact is that atheist scholars and Jewish scholars are also in near universal agreement that Jesus was an actual person. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really taken a position on that, to be honest. I think so, that it was an interesting book on the historicity of Jesus. Was interesting, and I haven't made it like much through the Jesus from Outer Space book, but it's Casey Gleason she read it. She's the voice. John Gleason's wife read that book, on the Audible version. Anyway, but yeah, and what? There's only like what Carrier, that Dennett, right? That or is it Dennett? No, not Dennett. The one guy we were all talking, the guy that was on fucking Myth Vision. He's like the Price. That's his name. It's just like Price, Carrier, Godless Engineer. That's it. That's all. That is all the mythicists in existence. That my money is PhD in the New Testament study. That's cool. I also and yeah, and what's his name? Bart Ehrman also disagrees with him. But and I feel like I saw a debate between Carrier and Bart Ehrman. That was pretty interesting. And I feel like they bring up some interesting points. I just don't know if it's enough to say he definitely didn't exist. You know, I feel like that's quite the claim. You know, I think the character, the character in the story didn't exist. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a dude named Jesus that was sacrificed, you know, that was like killed on a cross by the Romans. That makes sense. But everything else doesn't, you know. So I don't know, like, where do you draw the line? You say that Jesus didn't exist, but there was nothing. It was just, you know, nobody that this happened to, and then they made the story. I mean, because it's pretty clear that I think Paul just made shit, like he didn't even know what Jesus had said half the time. It was just like making up, you know, he just wanted to be the patriarch, I think, of the religion, and then just use Jesus as like a believe in that other guy, but do everything I say. Okay. No, but you got to believe in that guy to like go to heaven and stuff. Do what I say. I make the fucking rules around here. Okay. Which one of us lost our sight and actually talked to Jesus from a big shining light in the sky? Yeah. Me or you? Which one? That's right. Me. That's what I thought. Do what I say. Do what I say. That was Paul. That was me being Paul right there. All right, Joe. I got to run. But thanks so much for hanging out. This was fun. But like I said, I'm going to be back more frequently. I got, what is it, tomorrow? I got to check and see if it's live, but I'm going on Revolt. What is it? It's like something, Casual Revolt, going on that show. And we're going to talk about stuff. So that'll be fun. Again, I don't know if it's live. I'll have to check. But check that channel out. Casual Revolt. It's pretty cool. And then, and Lou the Skeptic. I'm going to be hanging out with him again. So that'll be fun. But yeah, Giselle set that up for me. Thank you again for that. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Oh, and Hellbound Hillbilly. What's up, dude? I didn't even see you there. Said maybe there was some hippie named Josh. That's right, because his name is Joshua, right? Wandered around with a group of buddies, couch surfing and wearing out his welcome until he pissed someone off bad enough to call the cops on him. One time, like after he flipped all the tables. I'm telling you, I'm serious. I feel like I remember Bart Ehrman saying exactly that it was once he started flipping tables, like they already were like, okay, this guy might be a problem because he's got this huge following, you know, and then he's just at temples flipping tables. They're like, that's it. Fuck this guy. Okay. We got to take this guy out. Flipping table. What the hell? Only us Romans flip tables. All right. We're the only ones that go in temples and terrorize everybody. And this, no. Stealing our shit. But, all right, y'all. But thanks again. Seriously, this is awesome. And I'm going to say, I got some stuff I am going to be putting up on Patreon. So check that out. Patreon.com/Apostate. And you can do a one-time thing on Cash App if you feel like it. #Apostate. You can become a member though, and that we're going to be doing a member live stream this week. I want to say on Tuesday. I think I'm going to do one. Might do like half and half. I think I'm going to try that, where you do like half regular and then it switches over. So let's try that on Tuesday. So yeah, and it's going to get really silly. I got some clown guy that we gotta react to. It's going to be fun. All right, y'all. Thanks for everything. Seriously, y'all are fucking awesome. But I will see you next time. Jesus is not your dad. Just stop. Just stop.